Welcome back to another project. In this project, we're going to build an AI Image Editor SaaS powered by Next.js 15. To bring this project to life, we'll combine a few powerful tools. For our database, we'll use Neon, a Postgres solution that supports both scaling and branching. Payments will be handled by Polar, which works in many countries and it is simple to integrate. For authentication, we use Better Auth. It's completely free and supports both email password and social logins. It is also very straightforward to set up. And once everything is ready, we'll deploy the app on Vercel, so you can easily share it with others or add it to your portfolio for free. On top of that, we'll integrate ImageKit, which is not only for uploading images, but also for AI-powered features like background removal, upscaling, and more. Now, let's walk through what the project will look like. The homepage starts with a clean hero section, followed by an information block with smooth hover effects. All the layout is fully responsive and beautifully designed. Next, we've got a section explaining how the site works, a testimonial area, and finally the pricing section with a strong call to action. Once we click on the sign in, we land on a beautifully designed sign-in page. Let's create an account by entering a name and password. After registering, we are taken to the dashboard. Since this is a brand new account, there are no projects yet. From here, we can head into settings. This is where users can update their name, email, or password, and even check active sessions. Let's try changing the name, save it, and notice how it instantly updates in the database. On the sidebar, we see the number of credits available. Every new user starts with 10 free credits to test the platform. From here, we can also upgrade to purchase more credits, view user data, access the customer portal, or sign out. Let's try upgrading. Clicking on Upgrade takes us to the payment page, where we can choose a credit package, say, for example, 50 or 150 credits. We'll go with 50. The form automatically fills in our name and email. We just need to add a test card number, the date, and CVC. We can also select the country, for example, Australia. And even we can apply a discount code. If we use Save20, we instantly get 20% off. Then we are ready to pay. Once the payment is processed, we return to the dashboard. Now, instead of 10 credits, we've got 60. With credits in place, let's create a new project. Click Create, update an image, and it is going to be stored on ImageKit. From here, several AI effects are available: upscaling, background removal, and smart object cropping. Let's try the upscale first. The credits drop from 60 to 59, and the image quality instantly improves. Next, let's try to remove the background. Again, costing 1 credit. The result is clean, sharp, and professional. Finally, let's test smart cropping, which is a free feature. We'll type dog and apply it. The system automatically detects the dog and crops perfectly to its face. At this point, we can download the image, upload another one, or come back later since the project is saved in the database. In the Projects section, all saved projects are displayed. We can search through them, switch between grid and list views, and sort by newest, oldest, or name. Back on the dashboard, we now see one active project. Also, we can see the month's stats, the week's stats, the join date, and a summary of all projects at the bottom. Another useful feature is the customer portal. Here, users can view their order history, download invoices, track usage, and update billing information like their address or payment method. So how does all this work behind the scenes? This app is built with Next.js 15 using the app router and server actions for both pages and APIs. The database is powered by Neon, which is free to start, is scalable, and lightning fast. We connect to Neon through Prisma. Payments are handled by Polar, making it easy to process transactions globally. It is also a great alternative if Stripe isn't an option in your country. Authentication is handled by Better Auth, which makes sign-in and sign-up both secure and simple. Deployment happens on Vercel, which gives us a free domain and lets us share the application instantly. As the site owner, you can log in into Polar and track revenue, sales, and orders. You can also manage different credit packs and create custom discount codes. For image storage and optimization, we are using ImageKit, which is the sponsor of this video. This tool doesn't just store images, it also optimizes them and even works with videos. The best part is how simple transformations are. You can resize, crop, or adjust the aspect ratio just by changing the image URL. ImageKit also ensures your images are delivered in the best format for each user automatically. When it comes to videos, ImageKit adapts the bitrate to the user's internet speed. And thanks to the AI-powered digital asset management, it can tag images automatically. ImageKit also detects bots and keep everything secure. Setting ImageKit up is straightforward. You can just create an account, grab your URL, and you're ready to apply transformations directly by changing the links. Plus, SDKs and plugins are available for many frameworks, including Next.js. I will also share the GitHub repository for this project, and you'll have full access to the code. You can clone it or download it and use it in your own apps. To make it even easier, I've also included a folder and file structure diagram on eraser.io. In the next section, we'll install Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create our first template. So see you in the next section. Alright, welcome back. In this section, we're going to install Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create our first template. As you can see from here, I have put the final version here in this address, AI-image-editor.100jsprojects.com. You can come here, get familiar with the website. For example, you can just try on the project for yourself, create an image with the AI feature and get familiar with the website. The other things I have put here is a diagram for the project, including the structure of the folders and files, and also the Prisma schema, for example, how we add the verification, session, accounts, what is related to the user, and also we need to add a schema for the project. I'm going to explain you everything using this diagram, and also I'm going to share the link of this diagram with you so you can have access to this one, clone it or change it. So this is a website, and also this is the eraser.io. So the first step is to install Next.js. Traditionally, I was using npx create next app at latest to create the application. For example, if you go to the Next.js website, go to get started and installation, we can see here using npm, we can use npx create next app at latest to create the application. But I want to use something else today, which is called T3 stack. T3 stack is not going to only install the Next.js, and also it's going to install Prisma. It's going to add all the environmental variables for connecting to our database and everything else. It makes our life much easier than using the create next app one. So in order to have that, we can just go to stack tree. You just search stack tree and go to create.t3.gg. So as you can see, they have this website. You can use this npm create t3-app at latest to install the application. You can use it for npm, yarn, pnpm, and bun. And this is going to install everything you need for your application. So this one is going to install our application and give us the prisma.env src folder and the app directory. So let's create a folder for our application first. So I'm going to create it in my computer. I'm going to create a new folder called AI Image Editor SaaS app. So I'm going to open this one in the Visual Studio Code. So once you open it, you can see the default folder is the folder that I created. Make sure that it's the default folder. Let me close everything here. I'm going to close this welcome tab. And let's open the terminal by going to view terminal or use this shortcut to open it. As you can see, the default folder is this one. Now, if we just copy this npm, copy it and paste it here. And as I already have created this folder here, I'm going to just add the dot at the end to just create everything inside this folder. So this is going to ask you some questions, and based on the answer, it's going to create a different app for you. For example, if you want TypeScript or JavaScript, you can just choose that. For example, I want to choose TypeScript. And also I want to use Tailwind CSS. Here is asking me to use TRPC. What is TRPC? This is going to create an application for you, and it's already made to use. For example, it's going to create a blog application for you, and based on that, you can just add a post to your website. I'm not gonna use this one because it's going to create a lot of files and folders that we need to delete. So if you want to just quickly create an application, you can just use this TRPC. Otherwise, you just say no. And for the authentication, we are using Better Auth. So they have the support for Next.js now. So if you're using Next.js, you can use this. But otherwise, you just say none. For the ORM, we want to use Prisma database ORM, and we are using app router, so I'm going to say yes. And also for the database type, we are going to use PostgreSQL. So we're going to use PostgreSQL. We are using Neon. So this is based on this, and we're going to choose this one. And also we want to have the slint and prettier. So slint basically is going to check your errors in your application. Also prettier is going to clean your application once you save it. And they're going to ask me, do you want me to initialize a GitHub repository? We can just say yes. And also we want to install the application. So we just say npm install. For the default alias, we're going to use this one. I'm not gonna change this one. So this is going to install all the application we need, and it's going to install everything. The boilerplate for Prisma, Tailwind CSS, database, environmental variables, and everything we need. So, and now it's installing the application. If you go to page package.json, you can see that it's installing all the things we need, like Prisma, Next, React, and also some dev dependencies like Tailwind CSS, Prettier, Prisma, and etc. Also the TypeScript. And the other good things is they add scripts for us, for example, for building the next application, generating the Prisma, and also the migration, pushing, and everything we need. The things I want to first do is to add a port for my application, because I don't want to use the default 3000, localhost 3000, because for Better Auth, it's better to have a static port, because sometimes the 3000 is full and it is going to choose 3001. And the Better Auth is going to stop working, so you'll need to change that one over and over. But if you just add a port here, let me add a port and just add for example, 3050. So this is going to use always this port number for us. And if you now let's just use npm run dev. So this is going to use this script. Once you use that, it's going to open our application inside the localhost 3050. So I'm going to open it. As you can see, it's already created for us. This is the first template. As you can see, this is the home page. It's working fine and everything is created for us. The things is created, for example, it's already created for us in a schema. As you can see, it's for a post model. The database is the PostgreSQL. Also, the .env is already created. Let's go to .env file. As you can see, we have this .env. The only things we need to do now, if we go to our database, for example, Neon, and get the database URL. And in this case, we can just add this schema to our application and see it there. I'm not gonna do it now, because we want to first install Better Auth for our application and change this schema, and then we're gonna add our database. So for now, we have our files and folders. So if you look at the eraser.io, let me explain everything that we have done so far. So we have used this npm create t3-app at latest, which created us the first template, including the Prisma files. We have the public folder. This folder is going to have the folders and files that the users can have access to. So for example, here in the public folder, we have the favicon. This favicon, the user can have access to this file. For example, if you go to localhost /favicon, favicon.ico, I think. As you can see, we have this file here. So basically they can download this file. So anything you put inside the public folder is going to be like this / that file name. Any image, video, or whatever you want to use. The other one we have is src folder. Src folder is going to have some files and folders, including the app folder, which is going to create the pages and route of your application. For example, here, if you add a page.tsx, this is going to create your homepage. So basically, if you go to app and page.tsx, this is your homepage. So now we have T3 have created us some boilerplate here, but we can just replace this one, for example, with a React functional component. We just say homepage. And if you now look at our website, go to the homepage, we can see that text that we have created here. So if I do some changes here, for example, if I change the color here, add a class name, for example, text, the color, for example, I choose the yellow. Now, if I check, you see the color is different. So the other things it's very important to mention is the extensions you need to install. Here, I use RFC to get the React functional component. So this actually is using this extension. If you go to extensions, you need to install this extension to have this RFC or anything else. Like they have a lot of things you can use, the commands and etc. You can check here and change the setting. But if you install this one, you're gonna get a lot of suggestion here. And the other things you need to install is this Tailwind CSS IntelliSense, which I get these suggestions like text yellow. And for example, if I use counter space here, I can see all the variants I can use that has this text yellow, and everything else I can choose. For example, text yellow with shadow, and for example, let's decrease the color, and you can see it here. So that was it for installing Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create our first template. Now we need to add our application to the GitHub repository. So I'm gonna, let's go to github.com and make sure you're signed in. It's totally free. You can create as much as repository you want. So here you're gonna create a new repository. I'm gonna call this one AI Image Editor SaaS app. I'm gonna share the link, this link with you as well, so you can easily download the codes, install it to your computer, or you can come here. If you have any errors in your coding, you can just compare your code with the code here and do it for yourself. Let's add a description for this. Let's just say AI Image Editor SaaS app using Next.js, Tailwind CSS, Prisma, Neon, ImageKit, and Better Auth. I'm going to keep this one public so you can see it. But if you don't want to just share this code with someone else, you can make this one private easily. So we just say create repository. Now we need to connect this repository to our code. Basically, we just need to copy these 3 lines of code and add it to our terminal. So here, first thing first, we go to this source control. I'm gonna add all the changes we have done here so far. I'm gonna add everything. It's already, this one is added. Let's add these 2 changes as well. So we have all the changes here. Let's just say, for example, install Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create the first template. Okay. So I'm gonna just commit this. Once you commit it, you can just open the terminal and paste the lines that you have copied, these 3 lines of code here. Once you paste this one, this is going to upload everything that you have created to this GitHub repository. And once you've done it, you just refresh this page and you can see all the codes are here. Even there are some explanation. If you go to commit, you can see this commit. So install. And as I mentioned, you just come here, you compare your code with my code. For example, if you don't want to just type the Prisma schema, you just come here, Prisma schema, you just copy this code. So I'm going to share this link with you. And also I'm going to add this URL of this website here. So you can easily come here and check this one as well. So AI Image Editor.100jsprojects.com. So that was it for our installation of Next.js and Tailwind CSS and using the T3 stack. In the next section, we're going to work on the authentication. We're going to add the authentication using Better Auth. So based on that, we're going to update our Prisma files. And once the Prisma is completed, we're gonna add the Prisma to our database, which is Neon. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have install Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create our first template, as you can see here. In this section, we're going to add the authentication to our application. We're going to use Better Auth. So let's search for Better Auth and we go to their official website, better-auth.com. As you can see, it's in order to have this Better Auth, we need to have some database as well, but Better Auth is completely free. And once you have it in your application, you can use it for free. So in comparison with other authentication providers like Clerk, it's a little bit harder to install and work, but you don't need to pay for that, and you have the flexibility to change and modify the authentication. So let's go to get started. As you can see, we can install that one for different frameworks. If you go to, I think, installation, we can install that. We just say npm install Better Auth. Let's add this one to our terminal. Let's clear the terminal first. Clear. Paste this one there. Once we install that, we need to set our environmental variables. So we already have the .env file. We need to add this Better Auth secret and Better Auth URL. So first we need to generate a secret code. This one is kind of use it for creating, how to say, the JW and other things in your browser. They need a secret code. So let me just copy this, and it's different from one person to another. You just need to go to your .env file and paste it here. I just want to add it, put it inside a quote. It doesn't matter. You can put it inside the quote or you don't need to do it. It's totally up to you. And the other things is to add this Better Auth URL. Let's copy that and paste it here. As my URL is now 3050, I'm gonna add this here. Let's delete these extra things. Let's also delete this one. Okay. So now I have this one in env.js. This is kind of a TypeScript. You need to define the type of your environment. So we have the database URL. Let's add the Better Auth secret, which is the string. That's enough. Let's add the Better Auth URL, which is the string, and also the URL. So, and also we want to add this runtime environment. So secret and plus the URL. So now if you want to use this, for example, secret in your application, for example, in the homepage, you just need to say env. We import it from our env.js file, and then we just say Better Auth URL, like this one. For example, if you go to the homepage, now you can see the URL. Let's go back here. You can see the localhost 350. So this is the way we use .env. Let's bring back this one to the homepage. So that was the first part to install Better Auth. The next step is to create a file called auth.ts, and we can put this one inside different location. Like we can create a folder called lib or utils. It's totally up to us. What I did for my project, if you look at the eraser.io diagram, I just created a folder called lib inside the src folder, and inside that one, I just added this auth.ts file. So let's go to Visual Studio Code. In src, I'm going to create a folder called lib or lib and a file called auth.ts. And once we create this file, we can add this import and export. Or if you have a database, you can add the database as well. As we are using Postgres, so we need to add the Postgres one. And let's go down. We can add the Prisma. So this is the actually more complete one. Let's add the Prisma one. Let's copy this and paste it in our auth.ts. But we are using Postgres, so I'm going to change this squared to this Postgres. And let's fix this import. Let's delete this import and import it again. And we get the suggestion Prisma /client. We need to import it from there, as you can see now. So the provider is this PostgreSQL, and also the database, everything is fine. So the next step is to generate the table. So as you can see, now we have the table, the schema, but it's just a post model. We want to generate for our authentication. So let's copy this code and we paste it in our Visual Studio Code. Let's clear this and paste it here. This is going to generate a new schema for us. Let's just pay attention to this one. We just say yes. And this is going to change our Prisma file for us. And here is asking me, do you want to overwrite this schema? I just say yes. And this is going to completely add the new schema for us. So it includes the user model, like name, email, image, and etc. And also we have the session, they have the account, and also we have verification. So everything is completely written for us. And we don't need this post model, actually, we can delete that. And the other things we want to add here, I want to add a credits to user, because once the user is created, I want to give them 10 credits. So here we want to add the credits. So I just say credits, and then the default value, let's add 10 at the beginning. And the other things I want to add is the table for project. If you look at the eraser.io here, we can just say, see, this is the schema, final schema we are using, the verification, we have session, account, the user is created. The other things we want to have is this project. So we want to have all the information of the project that person is created and save it to the related user. Okay, so let's add this one to our Prisma file. So let me just add it here. As you can see, the model is called project, and we have the ID name, the image URL, ImageKit ID, file path, all of them is a string. And the user ID here, we have this, we want to connect this one to the user. So, and also we want to create it at and update it as. So if you add this one here, we need to add the project to our user. So let's go to user. So under the accounts, I'm going to add the projects, which is related to our project table that we have added here. So now we have all the Prisma schema. We need to add this one to our database. But before adding to database, we need to get this database URL. So the database we're going to use is Neon. So use the link in the description to go to Neon. So once you are inside Neon, as you can see, the good things about Neon is completely free to use. You don't need to add your credit cards information to use it. And also they have a very generous free tiers. You can create up to 10 projects for free using Neon. So let's just log in. So once you log in with your information, you can see here, you can see all your projects here. Let's create a new project. I'm going to call this one AI Image Editor SaaS app. Let's use the latest version of Postgres, and also I'm going to use Azure for the provider, and let's create that. Once you create this one, you can connect this one to your application. You just click on connect, and this is your connection string. Just copy this and go back to Visual Studio Code and paste it here. Now you can easily send this schema to your database. So what you want to do, let's open this npm script. As you can see, already they have a script for generating and migrating to the database. You can just click on db generate. You just run this one. Once you run it, this is going to, as you can see, it's going to create our schema, Prisma schema, generate that one and upload it to our database. So we just need to wait until this one is completed. As you can see, it's already known that we are using Neon. It's sending us our database there. And also you can just after a few seconds, you can see we're gonna have a new file here as well. So let's wait for the migration. So okay, here now they're asking me to name the migration. I just can say, for example, T3 stack. So as you can see, we have a new folder called migration with the name T3 stack, and also the migration SQL, which is some codes to create our tables, modify them, how they are connected to each other. Everything is created automatically. Now we just go to Neon. I think now if we go to tables, we should see our tables here. As you can see, we have a table, user, we have a table, project, account, session, and verification. Everything that we have defined inside the Prisma, now it's available inside Neon. So now if we add a new user, the user is going to be added automatically in our Neon database. So let's keep on continuing installing the Better Auth. So we have done the generate, and also we have done the migration as well. So the next step is to add some authentication methods. We're going to use email and password. So I'm going to copy this email and password, and we want to add it to our auth.ts. Let's go to auth.ts. I'm going to add this one here. If you want to add some social providers, you can add like GitHub, Google. In this project, I'm going to just use the email and password, but in the following projects, I'm going to use Google, GitHub, and etc. So we're going to keep it simple. For the first project, I'm using Better Auth. So next, we want to have like month handler. But let's go and choose Next.js. We want to create an API route for Next.js, which is going to create us this handler. So let's just copy this first. I created here inside the, you can see inside the eraser.io, we need to create a folder called API, and then we have authentication, we have all, and also route.ts. So we need to create that one as well. So let's go back to Better Auth. Let's copy this off. I want to create this file. Let's go to API. So we don't have the API folder. Let's create that inside the app. Let's create API, and then we have auth. We have a folder called ... all, but with the bracket, and also route.ts. Let's create everything. And after that, we're gonna copy this code and paste it here. And just the import is not wrong. It's wrong because we need to import it again. Because our alias is completely different. Let's completely delete this and import it again. Let's just get the auto suggestion. We import it correctly from lib/auth. So that was the next step. And then in the final step, I think we need to create a client instance. For the React, we just need to create this file auth-client.ts inside the library. So we go to here, let's create that file, and we're gonna copy this code and paste it here. For the base URL, we're gonna use that env and Better Auth URL. So that's it. Let's go to the, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We have everything. So now we need to create the pages like signing, sign up, and etc. But creating all of them one by one, it's a bit of work. Somebody already done all these pages for us. So I find a package, very nice package called Better Auth UI. If you search Better Auth UI, you go to better-auth-ui.com. They already created our pages like forgot password, signing, sign up, and etc. We just need to install this package and get everything we need. So for the installation, we just need to use this command. Let's install that. Let's open the new terminal, put it here. We need to configure our Tailwind CSS. We just need to copy this code and add it to our global.css, which is here. Let's add it at the top. And we don't need to do this one. This is for the version 3. We are using version 4, Tailwind CSS. And then we're going to integrate it with, for example, Next.js. So inside the Next.js, we need to add the auth provider. We need to add the auth provider and cover our application with the auth UI provider, which is coming from Better Auth UI. So we need to create a file called provider.tsx as a new component and add it. First, we want to create this file, and then we want to cover our application, for example, in layout.tsx, and cover it. So, in this way, that page is going to be authenticated. For example, nobody can have access to the certain pages that we have created. So we need to first create a file called providers.tsx. Let's create it inside a folder called component. So if you look at the eraser.io, we need to create a folder called components, and it's going to have a lot of files, and we're gonna set this one inside the src folder. So let's create this components folder in src, and inside that we're going to create this provider.tsx. And this is going to be this code. I'm going to just copy this and paste it here. What we need to do here is just fix the imports. I think we just need to replace this one with this mark. Yeah, that's fine. So everything is okay. This is for the providers. So we need to wrap this one with our application. If you look at the eraser.io, for creating the authentication page, I've created an extra folder called auth, and inside that we are gonna have the authentication page, and we're gonna add that providers to this layout.tsx. So that provider is not gonna cover all our application because I don't want to protect my home page. I just want to protect all the other pages. So we're gonna create a folder called Auth, but with the parentheses. So let's go here in the app. We're gonna create a folder, and then here we're gonna create a file called layout.tsx, and this one is going to be, it's gonna be similar to this layout, but I'm gonna just add the providers here. So let's go to the layout.tsx, this one. Yeah, I want to show you if you look at the final version and we go to the sign in page, you can see that we have the sign in, sign up, and forgot password, for example, pages, but these are all covered with this beautiful, left design. This is just a static, but I just add this one to the layout.tsx. So all the sign up pages is gonna have this one. So I'm gonna put a special layout.tsx to have this amazing design. So you can grab that one from the GitHub repository. I'm just gonna paste it here and explain it to you. All right, so this is the code. So basically, we're gonna cover everything by that providers that we have created, and we just want to have some logo, some like a text here. You can see from the final version we have some logo, text, and everything else. And on the right side, what we want to add is this form of authentication form. So the authentication form is going to have that text and everything else, but in order for this one to work, we need to install some package to be able to use it. So actually authentication, if you look at the Better Auth UI, in order to have this Better Auth UI, we need to install something else. The requirements is to install ShadCN UI plus Sonar. We have already installed Tailwind CSS version 4, and also we have installed Better Auth. So first, let's install ShadCN UI. So this is basically going to add some components to our application. So we're gonna have this kind of beautiful design without adding any Tailwind CSS code. So this one works based on the Tailwind CSS as well. So we click on Get Started. We go to Next.js. We're gonna use npm to install it. Let's copy this. We go to Visual Studio Code and paste this one. And we're gonna add some components based on our needs. For example, the button, you just install the button and then you can use it to your application. So based on the requirements, let's go to the requirements section. We need to have ShadCN and plus Sonar. So for the Sonar, we're gonna install Sonar. Sonar is just a toast notification. When you click on it, we can see the toast notification. So we're gonna install this. First, complete the installation of the ShadCN UI. We're gonna use the base color, which is neutral. Then this is now updating our CSS. If we look at our CSS file, global.css, you can see now some themes is added to our global.css, which is related to the ShadCN. So this one is completed. Let's install Sonar. So this is going to install Sonar to our application. Once you install it, you can see inside the components folder, we have another folder called UI. And now we have Sonar in our application. So let's delete this one. Or toss props. Let's see the problem here. So it's the type must be imported using type only imports when variable module is enabled. Let's fix this one real quick. I'm gonna just we just click on fix. Okay, it's fine. We're gonna accept this one. This is gonna just import the toaster as Sonar. And also we need to import the type toaster prop. So now we have this Sonar. The next step is to add the Sonar to our, where is this Sonar? It's Sonar. We need to add it to our layout.tsx. So now if we go back to, we need to add this one to the main layout. So if you look at the eraser.io, we have a main layout in the app folder. We need to add it there. So let's go there and we go to the main layout. inside the src app, we have this layout.tsx. Let's add this one under the children. Let's import it from Sonar. So everything is fine. Let's go to the next step. So we have done the requirements. Let's go back to the installation. We go to Next.js. So we have done the providers. We have added that one. We have added to our layout.tsx. And this is going to create all the pages we need. For example, sign in, sign up, forgot password, and etc. Let's see that it's working or not. So let's go to our version. Let's go to /auth, for example, /sign in. Let's see if your application is running. Okay, it's not created yet. We need to create a file in our application. We have created the auth, but according to the eraser.io, we need to create another file called auth and also path, and then we have to create a file called page.tsx. So in the Better Auth UI, here, the auth pages, yes. So layout, the auth pages, we haven't done this part. So we need to create a folder called auth and then folder called path in the brackets and also page.tsx. So let's copy this one. We go to our, also let's copy this one as well. Let's go to here and paste this one. So this is going to create a folder called auth, and then we're gonna have a folder called path, and then we have page.tsx, and this is going to be the code we need. Let's copy this one and paste it here. Let's see if we have any problem with the imports. So everything is fine. Let's go to our application. Now, let's refresh the page again. As you can see now, the signing is here. We have this beautiful design on the left side. We have the signing page. We have the sign up. We have the forgot password. And also if you click on this home, we're going to go back to the home page. So let's go back and sign up a user. For example, I just say Sahand. Let's create an email, for example, s@gmail.com. Let's use the same password as the email. Let's create the account. So the account is created. Now we are redirected to the home page. And let's check the Neon. Now we refresh the page. In Neon, let's refresh now we have a new user. We have a new user called Sahand. The email is s@gmail.com. And we have the credits, 10 credits as a default. So if you remember in Prisma, we have added this credits, default 10. So we can see it here. And also we have everything, projects, accounts, and sessions. So now, if we go back to our application, here. So now if we just inspect this page and we go to application, we can see inside the cookies, we have one cookie called Better Auth session. Basically, this is a token that logging the user. So now we can make some pages protected and some pages, for example, not protected. Based on this token, we want to check the user session. So now we have created these pages, sign in, sign up, and everything else. And also we have connected that one to our database. So the user is created as well. As I mentioned before, this is the first project I'm using Better Auth. In the following projects, I'm gonna add more features to the Better Auth. For example, we can work on adding the other providers like Google, GitHub, and also we wanna work on the email verification and forgot password functionality. But for now, we just keep it simple, just sign in, sign up, and etc. And let's open this. As you can see, we have sign up and then sign in. Let's sign in. So I'm gonna use the same email and password. Let's log in. Once we log in, we're gonna go to the home page. But the thing I wanna do, instead of home page, I wanna go to the /dashboard after a successful sign in. So this is very simple. We need to just update to our auth.ts and add some code to be able to do that. So what we need to do is to actually go to the providers. Let's go to our components, providers. And here, I want to add a new, actually we have this on session change. this one is going to refresh the page, clear router cache and protect this one. Instead of this, we're gonna add this code. So we're gonna try, if there is a session, we wanna redirect the user to the /dashboard. But the current path should be started from /auth. So if there is an error, we can just console log the error. So let's try again now. Let's go to sign in again. Let's use the same email and password. Let's try again. Okay, as you can see, after the login, we are redirected to the /dashboard. So we're gonna create this page later, but for now we know that our authentication is working. And also, if you inspect, you can see in the application we have a Better Auth session. Okay, so that was it for installing Better Auth and connecting it to our application. In the next section, we're going to start working on our dashboard page. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have installed Better Auth and added to our application. We have successfully signed in a user. Now, once we sign in the user, we go to the dashboard. We want to create the dashboard like the one in the final version. You can see this is the dashboard. The first part we want to create is this sidebar and this top section plus this menu. You can see we can toggle between and change the sidebar, remove it. And if you let me just decrease the size, you can see this one in the mobile screen. You can just bring it on the right side, and also you can see we have this hover effect and you have a button to close this. So basically we're going to use some components from ChatCN to create this navbar. Yes, we could say sidebar. And we're gonna use some UI from Better Auth UI to create this like menu. This is all just created before in Better Auth UI. For example, if you check components and you check the user avatar or user button, you can see we can easily create such a things by just importing a component called user button from Better Auth UI. So this is you can just get it from here. Let's go to ChatCN and we just check the sidebar. So we need to create some sidebar here. So as you can see here, we have a separator. So this is kind of, we want to use here, this separator. And the other things we want to use is the breadcrumb. So here you can see the information like this. So we want to have this information here after this separator. And also the other things we want to do is this sidebar. As you can see, they have a model here with even, as you can see, we can use it like this. So basically you can get the code from here. We can just check it, and also we can just copy the page or get the code. So in order to have that one, we have to install it and add something to our global to CSS to be able to use it. So let's install it one by one. Let's see what we have so far. We have Sonar as a component here. Before adding anything in this code, let's add this one to the GitHub. So this one was for our authentication. So the message would be add authentication using Better Auth. So let's commit and push it to the GitHub. So if you want to have the code for this one now, if you go to our GitHub repository, inside the commits, we have another commit, and you can just get the code from here. Everything that we have added is here. So in each section, I need to add the commits, and you can use it in your application too. So let's one by one install the things we need. The first thing we need to install is the breadcrumb, something like that, a breadcrumb. So we can just install this. We're just gonna copy this and paste it in our application. So that was it, and we can use it like this. The next things we need to install is separator. Let's search for separator here. Let's install that. What's going on? Okay, let me stop this. Let's install, yes, separator. And also let's install breadcrumb. So as you can see now, breadcrumb, separator. Then we want to install sidebar. Let's go to sidebar. We're going to install that. So this is going to add another file here. Let's check the files. So inside the UI, now we have, once you install sidebar, you get a lot of things like skeleton, sheet, input, and etc. So it comes with everything. And also it has a hook called useMobile.ts. So all these things are installed when you install the sidebar. As you can see, button, sheet, tooltip, input, skeleton, and also the sidebar itself. And also, if you check our global.css, we have some new styles added here. Let's create another folder here and separate the sidebar. So inside the components, I'm going to create another folder called sidebar. So we're going to create another component called app-sidebar.tsx. And basically, this is the code. This is the server component. So before the page is loaded, it's going to be created. We're going to use the user button from Better Auth UI. As I mentioned before, the user button is going to create this menu for us. And also we're going to import all the things we have just installed from sidebar. So we need the sidebar content, footer, group, and etc. We need to create another component called credits. So let's create this one. So credits.tsx. Let's first just create a React functional component for now. And then we're going to have, okay, this one is working, credits. Module import as no exported member credits. Did you mean to import credits? Let's see. That's fine. We create it later. So for now, I just want to create a button actually for the credits, and then later we're going to add the functionality. So we have to create another component called sidebar menu items. So let's create that one and create a React functional component for that. So let's delete this .tsx React functional component. And this is basically should be like this. This one too, now it would be fine. And then we want to have a component called upgrade. Let's create that, upgrade.tsx. Okay. And also another component called mobile sidebar close. So we're going to fix this one later. So first we create these files so we don't get an error here. So it's fine. Okay, now we are not getting an error. So this is basically an app sidebar. We're going to cover everything with sidebar, which we have installed from shatcn. Then we have sidebar content. We have a mobile sidebar close and sidebar group. And basically first we have our logo, AI editor, image editor. If you can look at the final version, we have this logo, AI image editor, and also this icon. So this is the icon, it sparkles. And then we're gonna have these credits. For now, we're just adding something created, but later we're gonna get this information from our database and show it here. Then we have a button for upgrading here. Once we click on it, we're going to be redirected for payment. We're going to do this one later as well. And after that, we're going to have this user button here, which is going to have two menu, /dashboard setting, as you can see here, the setting, and also the customer portal here. And as a default, they have sign out as well. So you don't need to add it here. So this is basically our application. Let's check the final version. Let's go to the dashboard. So let's run the application first. npm run dev. Let's refresh the page. So we haven't created the page yet. In order to create the page, as you can see from the eraser.io, we need to create a folder called dashboard, and inside that we have page.tsx. So I want to separate the dashboard as well. So I'm going to create a folder with the bracket dashboard. So here inside the app, I'm going to create a folder with this name. And inside that, we're going to have a folder with the name dashboard. Inside this, we're going to have a file called page.tsx. If you have a React functional component, we should see our page is running now. You can see the page here. But let's have some, as you can see here, we're going to have a layout here. So this layout is going to create everything related to this dashboard. So all the pages is going to have this layout. So we're going to have this menu inside the layout, basically, and we're going to have it in all pages. So let's add this layout file. So let's go to Visual Studio Code, and next to this dashboard, I'm going to create a file called layout.tsx. Let's just paste the code. It's very simple. So basically, we're going to import global.css for having the CSS. And also we're going to have the providers. If you remember the Better Auth UI, in order to have our application inside the installation, we need to wrap everything inside the layout.jsx. I think it was here at the top. Yeah, here. After creating the providers, we need to wrap our application inside the layout.tsx with this provider. So basically, we import that and wrap our application with this provider. And then we're going to have our sidebar provider, because in order to have a sidebar, in order to work, you need to wrap it as well. Then we have our app sidebar that we have created here, this app sidebar, which we created here, this app sidebar. We're going to wrap everything. We have sidebar inset, and we have the separator, and then breadcrumb. Inside the breadcrumb, we have all the breadcrumb list. So if you look at the final version, we can see we have this separator, then we have breadcrumb. And based on the page, we're going to see different things. If we are in a different menu, we see the different things here. Let's see what we are getting as an error here. There's no error here. We need to have a breadcrumb page client in order to understand the page URL and then show the breadcrumb. So let's create this file as well inside our sidebar. So breadcrumb page client.tsx. Basically, this is a client-side component, and based on the URL, as you can see, if it's /dashboard, it's going to show dashboard. If it's /dashboard/create, it's going to say create, and etc. Projects say projects, and settings say setting. You can change this anything you want. So based on your URL, for example, if I go to create, you see this is now create. Setting, and this is going to be setting. So basically it's going to, if this one is this is going to switch to this one. So let's check our final version. So we have to complete the sidebar menu, create its upgrade, and also here this is working actually. We have the name, we have the email, customer portal, setting. Let's see the problem here. So we have the hibernation problem. So inside the app sidebar.tsx, we have user button. It's not a big deal. Once we complete the page, we're gonna remove that one as well. So let's complete these items that we have here first. So let's complete the mobile sidebar close. This one is working now. We have the logo. Let's create this mobile sidebar close and finish that. Let's go to here, mobile sidebar close. So this is a client-side component. We're going to use the use sidebar from sidebar chatcn. And based on that, we want to know, is it on the mobile or not? If it's not on the mobile, we're going to return null. So basically now we don't see it, but once we have a smaller screen, let's see, now it's going to be active. As you can see, we can see it's active. So basically it's just a button. First, this button is going to close the application and set the open mobile to false. So it's just this button, and once it's open, we can just close it. So that was it for the sidebar close component. Let's go to the next component that we need to create is sidebar menu item. Let's go to the sidebar menu item. These are just basically some list of items here. For example, dashboard, create, projects, setting, and etc. You can add as much as you want and make this one the ones you want. So like you can change the menu, and basically we have this menu here, and once we click on it, based on the URL, so we're gonna get the path from use path name. If the path is equal to this, we're gonna activate this dashboard. If it's equal to this one, we're gonna activate this one. So basically we're gonna have this function. We just say if the path is equal to item.url, we're gonna activate that particular item. So here, as you can see, it's very simple. So, and when you click on another page, so now we don't have that page. So let's go back. So we have dashboard. We don't have the other pages, but as you can see, dashboard is now active because we are in the / dashboard. Once we complete the other pages, we can see them as well. So this one is working too. Let's see. That's fine. So this one is working. So that was it for our sidebar menu. Let's see if we are getting any errors here. So let's go to this dashboard. I think this one we already fixed that. Let's import it again. So there's no type error. So everything is working fine for the menu. And we're going to work on the credits and upgrade in the following sections, and also this dashboard, create project, and etc. But for now, just let's add this one to the GitHub. So this is going to be, let's get the suggestion from GitHub Copilot. So a lot of suggestions, we don't need the others. Just say add sidebar components and utilities. That's fine. Let's just commit and push this one to the GitHub. So if you want to just get the template for the sidebar and you don't want to code it yourself, you can just come to the GitHub repository and let's just come to the home page, like this page that I have provided to you. And let's go to commits, and here you just see the add sidebar component and utilities. As you can see, now you can, if you want to, for example, get this code, you can just come here and grab it and put it in your project. All right, so that was it for the sidebar component. In the next section, what we want to do is to complete our sidebar. We want to add the credits, showing the credits, and also maybe we want to add this upgrade as well. So I'm not sure. First, let's complete this one and see how it goes. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed our sidebar components. If you look at here, the only things left is this credit and upgrade. Let's start with the credits section. So what we want to do is to get the information from Neon. So each user has something called credits, and as they sign up, we give them 10 credits. So we want to show these numbers here inside this sidebar component. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code and we go to sidebar and we go to credits.tsx. Now we have here, we want to use something called use server to get it. We can create this function inside the actions. So if you look at the eraser.io, we have another folder called actions, and we can just put the functions here. So let's make it like this. So let's go to src and we just create a new folder. We call it actions, and let's create a file here. For example, we just say users or users.tsx. So anything related to user, we want to create it here. So this is going to be a server action. So we just say use server. So the function we want to create, we just say this function export. This is a asynchronous function. We just say get user credits. And we don't need to pass the ID, I feel, because we can just check the authentication. So let's just create this function first. Let's import the authentication from our library and auth.ts. First fix this one. It's working now. So we want to get the session, const session, and we can use this get session method, but this is not inside this one. It's auth.api. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, get session. See what's this error? Okay, we just complete this one first. And we want to get this headers from next headers. And after here, let's see what happens. We want to get inside this one, we want to get the headers. So headers is going to be await. We just get it from next/headers. And then here, if there is no session, we want to return null. But otherwise, we want to get the user data. We just say user, we need to import DB at the top. So DB is coming from server DB. And we go to inside the neon, we just tackle the user. We want to find the users and select the credits. We want to get the credits. And here we want to return the credits of the user. So now if we use this function, we can get the credits of the user. So let's use this function inside the credits. So here, let's import that credits. We just get the credits. We use this function, get user credits from the users. And let's just, for now, we just show we call this function first, get the credits, and then show it here. And as we are using await here, we need to convert this one to asynchronous. So let's check our application. Let's refresh the page. Let's see if we are running our application. It's working. As you can see, now we get the 10, which is the number of credits here. But I don't want to show it like this. We want to show it like the final version, and just some icons, and we just say credits. So it's just use some, let's go back to here. Let's just use this one. I just want to use some icons like coins from Lucid React and also sparkles. So, and then we want to show the credits with this color, and under that we want to say credits. Let's see in our application. Let's refresh the page. Seems like we are getting an error. Oh no, there's no error. As you can see, 10 credits now we have. So inside the neon, this guy has 10. Let's change it, for example, to 20. Let's go back here. Let's refresh the page. Now we have 20 credits. So that was it for adding the credits inside the sidebar. So let's add this one to the GitHub. So let's make a message here. So add user credits, retrievals, and display in sidebar component. Let's commit and push that. So in the next section, we're going to work on this upgrade button. Once we click on this upgrade, we want to be redirected to the payment. The payment we want to use is Polar SH. So I'm going to show you why I'm using Polar SH instead of, for example, a Stripe. Polar SH is available in many countries, most countries. Most of my students had problem having access to Stripe. I found the best alternative, which is Polar SH. That is available in all countries, almost all countries, and also it has a better UI and a functionality experience. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the credits inside the sidebar. In this section, we're going to work on the upgrade functionality. So what we want to do is to connect Polar SH to our application. If you search Polar SH, so this is the payment infrastructure. It's using actually Stripe behind the scene, but it's actually available in more countries for you to use. So you can just sign in with your Gmail account. I'm already signed in. And once you sign in, you can just test it by going to the sandbox. The sandbox and the real payment is actually the same. It doesn't matter, the same system. Just you can test it in the sandbox. So here I can just create a new organization for our new project. I just call it, for example, AI Image Editor SaaS, or your image editor, maybe just say SaaS. And then we just accept this one. We create this. So product information, basic information to identify the product is just the AI image editor. Hey, it's not important. This is for a SaaS app. That's it. Pricing, it's one-time purchase. And we want to make it, let's create this one later because we want to create different products. So just skip this one. And then we go to the products. We want to have 3 products. For example, we want to have a small, medium, and large purchase for the credits. So now the user first get 10 credits. And then I want to have a system. For example, I just want to say a small pack. I just this, for example, we just say 50 credits, and description, we can just, we don't have a description, it's fine. You can add a description. For example, user can use 50 credits and etc. It's a one-time purchase. We can just set a fixed price. For example, I just say $4.99, and we can just create this product. Let's copy this text, and then let's create a new one. This one is going to be, for example, medium pack, 200 credits, and fixed price. This one we have like 4 times credits, but instead we have 3 times price, for example, $14.99. So it's kind of pricing. So, and then we have another one, for example, we just say large. This one is going to be 400, so it's 8 times credits, but we just charge them. So this one 8 times, so $4.99, we just charge $15 for 200. So this one 30. Let's see. We can just say, for example, $19.99. And we just add this one as well. Okay. So now we have 3 packs, like large, medium, and small. So based on the price they pay, they get more credits. So this is 3 times more price, but it's a 4 times credits. This one is just 8 times, but just it's just a incentive purchase. And also, they have free usage. For example, you get 10 credits, they can use the system. This depends on your strategy. You can just change this one. So now we want to connect this one to our application. Actually, Polar and Better Auth are great match. If you go to Better Auth here, and we go to integration, plugin, and we go to, I think they have, third party. We can click on Polar. As you can see, they have a system for payment for Polar. We need to install this too. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code. Let's clear this, and we just say npm install. We install Polar SH Better Auth and Polar SH SDK. After installation, we need to add the Polar access token. So we copy this one. We go to our environmental variable, and we just add this Polar access token. So we need to get this access token from Polar. So let's go to Polar. We go to setting. We go down and here we create a new token. We just call it AI Image Editor. Expiration, for example, we should say no expiration, and we just choose everything. Create that. Let's copy that and we paste it here inside the access token. We also need to add this one to our .env, env.js. So here we just add this Polar access token, and this is just a type. It's a type safe environmental variable actually. So the next one is going to be here. So we have this token. Let's go back to this. After that, we need to add the Polar client and also the Polar inside the Better Auth. So we're gonna have access to the token and etc. So let's copy this and we go to our auth.js inside the library auth.js. So let's see. So this is Better Auth. Yeah, it's here. So let's add. Let me check that if really we need to add it here or not. Polar, yeah, this client we need to add it here at the top. We create the Polar, and let's import this one. Polar. The installation is completed. We need to import that from Polar SDK. So let's add that one on the top. And also we need to import the .env. Okay, so it's also in the sandbox. That's fine. We can just keep it in the sandbox. The other things we need to add is this plugin. So we can just add this plugin, which includes the SDK and etc. So, and then we want to add the product's ID. So let's get this plugin until here, and we're gonna add it inside this Better Auth. So Better Auth, let's add it here. So let me just check the one I have created finally, and then replace this one. All right, just let me just delete this one and then paste the one that I have created in the final project. So we need to import Polar as well. So at the top, so we have this Polar client. We are just getting some error here. They said we couldn't find Polar because we need to add something inside the Auth client as well. So in the tutorial, you can see inside the Auth client, we need to add Polar client too inside the Auth client. So just gonna copy this and go back to Auth client and add it here. And we need to import this Polar client, which is coming from Better Auth. Let's copy this and paste it here. So everything is fine now. Now let's see if you're still getting. Let's just fix this one. We shouldn't get an error now. If we need to import something, let me check. Let me just restart the server first. So let's clear this and npm run dev. Okay, let's. Still this Polar is not. Let's check the checkout. Okay, we can import the checkout. Yeah, we can just import everything at the top. I forgot to import these things. We can import checkout, Polar, portal, webhooks, everything from the Polar SH Better Auth. So now we don't get an error. So here's actually when we check out, we want to have 3 products, a small, medium, and large. And we have to get this product ID. And we can get the product ID from here. So we go to the products. For example, for the small one, we just click here, we get the product ID and we paste it here. And then we have the medium, we copy that, we paste it here. And finally, for the large one, we get here. So this is going to open it. And also when the successful payment, we want to return the user to the /dashboard. And also only the authenticated person can have access to this. And also for the webhooks, we need to have a webhook. We get the webhook secret. So inside the Polar SH, we just go to setting, we go to webhooks. We need to create a webhook. But the problem is Polar SH doesn't work with the local host. It only works with the real website. So now we are testing our application in localhost. So in order to have this webhooks, we need to just use something to create a redirect to our from our local host to a real one, so we can have access to it. So we can use something called ngrok. So if we search ngrok, and you can just download it for your like an operating system. It's available for Windows or everything like Mac OS. So once you have it, you need to install it. You just copy this and you go to your terminal and you just say brew install ngrok, and let's see. So it's now installing now, I believe. Okay, so it's already installed. Then we can just create an endpoint. You just copy this one and you just say, but my port is 350. So when I just choose 350, it's going to create that endpoint for me. Now we get this URL. I can use this URL in Polar, and this URL is going to redirect me to the localhost 350 in our application. So here we go back to Polar, we paste it here, and this one is going to be / I think API / webhooks. Let me check. Yes, API / auth / polar / webhooks. And for the format, we use raw, and here we just choose the order paid. So when we have a payment, we're gonna have they send a signal to this API, and then we know that we have the payment. So let's create this. Once you create it, you can just copy the secret and you go to our environmental variable, and we're gonna add it here. So this is going to be Polar access secret, and this is going to be this one, and we're gonna add this one to our env as well. So this one is going to be secret, and also we need to define the type for that. Okay, it's the same one. So now if we come back to auth.ts, so let's just check this one. It should work now. What is the problem? Does not exist. So probably we need to restart our application. npm run dev. Oh, let's actually change this. This is Polar webhook secret, but .env, yeah, Polar webhook secret. Let's just change this one real quick. Okay, so now this error is gone. So for the webhooks, we just say on the order paid, once we have an order paid, we check the customer ID. We get the data because we know from the email, we know the customer ID. And if there's no customer ID, we're going to throw an error. Otherwise, we want to check the product ID we paid. For example, we paid the small pack or medium or large. And based on that, we want to add a credit to the user. First, we just set the credit to 0. If the product ID is this one, we're going to add 50. So we need to get the product's ID again. So we're going to copy this and paste it here. This is for the medium. We get 150 or 200. I think I did 200. And then for the $20, we give them 400 credits. And we want to update the user credit here. Based on that one, we want to, let's import the DB here. Okay. So we're going to update the user in the neon. So now we can actually add it. But first of all, because we sign in first, this user, the first time the user sign in, it's going to create the user inside the Polar SH as well. So if you go to customers, you should see the email here. So I'm going to delete this user. Let's delete this, or let's just create another user. So let's go to my application. First, we check this, why we are getting an error. So inside env.js, we are getting error. So let's go back to env.js. So this is okay. So what's the problem here? Create env, invalid environmental variables. I think I have imported that one wrongly. So let's go back to auth.ts. So we imported env here, token here as well. We get the env. So let's remove this minimum. And this is the secret. Let's remove these things as well. This one should be a webhook secret. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so now you should see our website. Let's log out now and create a new user. I want to use a real email. I want to show you when you create and purchase something, you're going to get an email from Polar as well. So that's a very good feature from Polar. I just want to use my email, codewithsahan@gmail.com. Let's create the same password. Sorry, we have to sign up with that. So, and the name is going to be my name. So let's create this account. Once we create it, we should see the same user in Polar as well. Now we get the 10 credits. Here is fine. And here inside the customers, we get this user. As you can see, everything is here, how much they purchased, usage and everything else. And also we get this email, everything. So now if I do some purchase with this user, this user is going to receive an email as well. So let's go back to here. Now we want to fix this component called sidebar upgrade. So here we don't have anything. So I want to create a button that when we click on it, we're going to be sending the user to the Polar. So let's complete that. So this is going to be a client component. So we just use client. And here, let's create a function. So we can just create that function. So this is going to be a function, for example, called upgrade. And this is going to be asynchronous. And we want to get some client information from Polar. So here we await and we use auth client. So auth client is coming from the library here. And here we should have the checkout. So we just say checkout. We accept this. And now we want to add what we want to see in the checkout, which product. So we have to define each product. So we just say product and we're going to define each of them. So we go back to Polar SH. We go to products and also we're going to get each of them. We just get copy product URL. This is the first one. Then we have the second one. Then we're gonna get the last one. Okay, so let's close this. And also we're gonna close this function. Okay, so let's delete this. Now we can use this upgrade. Let's create just a button and just unclick to this upgrade. Let me just paste a button here. So the button, we can use the chatCN button. And we're going to call that upgrade function. Once we click on this button, also, I want to see some crown and sparkles as well. So, and then we just want to say upgrade. So if you look at our application, let's refresh the page now. Now we see the button. So once we click on this button, we're going to be redirected to the checkout. So as you can see, we see the email of the user. That's a good things we see. Then we have a small pack, medium, and etc. So let's just pay, for example, this medium pack, which is 200 credits. We just pay this one, you know, that is test card is 42, 8 times. And then we're going to have an expiry date. It can be any date, but in the future, like this 27. And any 3 digits works here. We got the customer name. You can choose the country. I think it's optional, but you just choose some country. And then for the discount code, I'm going to show you, it's an amazing feature inside Polar. You can also define a discount code here inside discount, you can create a discount. For example, we just say it's any name. For example, 20% discount. For example, discount 20%. The code, for example, we just say D20. So anybody has this code can get 20% discount. So for example, we just say percentage 20%, and we can just create this. So, and then if you have some products, you can share it with your customers, this code, and they can just use that code. So that's another great things about Polar. Let's go back. I don't want to use the discount. We just pay now. Once you pay, you have to be redirected to /checkout. And also you have this token as well. So as you can see now, instead of 10 credit, I have 210 credits. So it's working fine. So, and then another good things you can see is if I check my email, I get an amazing email from Polar, and this is my brand name, and also thanking the user. Your order is now processed, 200 credits. And the user can easily just click here and see their products, their purchase. So if they click here, they can see their orders here, 20 view. They can download their invoice, and also they can change their payment methods, everything, and also billing. It's amazing. It's all out of the box and ready for us to create our product and give it to the user. So, and also I get the email too. So the owner of the website gets an email as well. So you got the customer or something like that. I don't want to show you my actual email, but you're gonna get an email. You can test it yourself. So that was it for the payment. Now we have already completed our sidebar, the payments. So the other things we need to do is just to complete this setting. This setting is very easy. We want to create this setting. Let's create it now. This is a setting for our authentication. So based on this eraser.io, you can see inside dashboard, we should create a folder called setting, and we're gonna create that page. So let's create that. So we go to components. Let's go to app dashboard. Inside this dashboard, we're gonna create a folder called setting, and then we're gonna have a file called page.tsx. So let's create this setting page. So this is a client-side component because we have some interactivity with this page. We can just click on some places. Oh, let me show you in the final version what we are building first. So in the setting, it's just a very simple page. We can just change the name of the user, email, and you can set a new password. And also you can see all your session. These are all ready to use components from Better Auth UI. So if you check the Better Auth UI, I think it's here. Yeah. Here you go to setting. For example, you go to account setting or security card. You can just simply add some setting cards, and you get all these things together in your application. Like session card, you can just have session card, delete account, for example. So let's add them one by one here. So let's create a function, export default function, and then the page name is, for example, setting page. So what we want to do, let's first just close this. Okay, so first I want to import some, for example, from Better Auth UI, we need to import the redirect to signing. So if the person is not logged in or authenticated, we're going to redirect them to the signing page. And also we want to have the security setting card and signing. So when you are signing, they can see some information. Otherwise, they're going to be redirected to the signing page. Also, we want to have the account setting cards. We want to have loading effects. So we're going to use this icon. And also we need auth client. And we want to create some piece of states and also use effect for this page. So let's continue to create this. First, we want to have a loading effect. So once we come to this page, we want to see a loading effect. Then we want to use effect to create some, let me just put it here. So we just want to check the session. If the person is authenticated, that's fine. Otherwise, we want to send an error, and also everything is fine. We want to set the loading to false. So let's delete this one. And this one should be easy loading. Okay, that's fine. So now we already checked the users. After use effect, so if it's loading, we want to say, show this icon and say loading your setting. Let's see our application. We should see this page. This one is settings. So I've just made a mistake of creating. So this one, we rename it to settings S with the S. So we should now see this page. Don't change this one. So settings, we see the setting, and also we see the loading effect, loading your settings. So once the loading is completed, we want to show the information to the user. So here, after this, we want to return. So let me return this. So we want to return, if the user is not logged in, we want to redirect the user to the sign-in page. But if it's signed in, we want to show them the information like account setting, manage your account preference. This is the title of the page that you see here. Then we want to show the user the account setting. This account setting, if you look at the UI, the Better Auth UI, account setting card, it includes two things. It shows the name and also the email of the user. So let me show you here. So the name and the email. So for example, if I want to change the name, if I click on save, as you can see, the name is updated here. And also if you check the neon now, if you refresh this neon, you can see now this email, the name is this one. So it's completely working with the neon as well. And then we have some security setting cards, which is this one. These are the setting the password and session. So you can just change your password. If you want to set the password or reset password, you need to just in your setting, you change this one to be able to use it. I think you need to add it to our auth.ts. Yeah, email password is enabled, is true. Yeah, some settings I forgot now, but when you just enable that setting, you can change your password as well. So let me check the Better Auth, search for password, change password card. So this is one thing I can see here, we can easily redirect the user to the dashboard by just adding it to the auth view. So we can just go to auth path page.tsx. I think here you need to add the redirect to /dashboard. So you can easily redirect the user to here. What else we can see here? So as I mentioned, this is the first project I'm using Better Auth. So if I see something new and some functionality, I use it in the next project. So if you just follow me for the next project, I'm gonna have a better Auth experience for you. So for now, that's enough for our application. Everything is working fine. So set password, everything, we can fix it later and use it in our application. So, all right, so that was it for adding the upgrade functionality. Let's add this one to the GitHub. So this one is going to be just add Polar authentication integration and settings management. Let's commit and push this. So in the next section, we're going to work on our create section. So we're going to be able to create some project. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the upgrade functionality and also added the ability to pay with polar.sh. In this section, we're going to work on our create page where we want to enable image uploading using ImageKit. If you have never used ImageKit before, I highly recommend checking it out. I've dropped a link in the description, and it's honestly one of the best platforms for handling images and videos in your application. ImageKit has one simple API for both images and videos. It can transform, optimize, and deliver your media in real time. You can also change things like the height, width, format, or even crop just by updating the URL. On top of that, ImageKit automatically handles performance optimization. For example, depending on the device or the request, users will always get the latest possible variant in modern formats. In my view, the best feature of the ImageKit is the ability to transform images by only using the URL. By changing the URL, you can resize and crop, remove backgrounds, add shadows, and a lot of more transformations that we're going to discuss later in this video. ImageKit is also super fast and on demand. If you're streaming video, ImageKit automatically adjusts the bitrate to match your customer's internet speed, ensuring the best experience. They also provide AI-powered digital asset management, which means your images and videos can be auto-tagged with metadata for better organization. And of course, delivery is secure and reliable. And the best part, it's free forever. With the free plan, you get 20 gigabytes of monthly bandwidth, 3 gigabytes of storage, 500 video processing units, 650 AI transformation units, support for 2 users, and 500 requests per month. All of that includes full access to ImageKit's optimization, transformation, and streaming features, plus their integrated media library and community support. So let's go ahead and set up our account, grab the delivery URL, and start using ImageKit's URL transformations for our application. Alright, now let's log in with the Gmail account. As I mentioned, it's totally free to use ImageKit. So I'm going to choose this Gmail account. Let's continue. Alright, now here, they're going to ask us for the role in the company. I just want to choose software or app developer. We want to use the real-time image optimization, transformation, and delivery. So I'm going to choose that. So creating rich personalized media assets with overlay. That's okay. Then we're going to use the digital asset management. Also, we're going to use the API to upload and manage. So we're going to click next. Here, we need to define the image ID. This is unique for us. We can choose anything like Sahand. I want to just choose Sahand G. So I need to copy this and remember. And we're going to choose this selection near us. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to click on next. And here we just choose how do you refer with this. I'm going to choose this one. So after the submission, we're going to be redirected to the dashboard of ImageKit. So here, what we need to do is to get our public key and the private key and plus the URL. So we can just go to developers option. Here you can see we have public key and the private key. And also we have this ImageKit ID and URL endpoint. We need to add them into our environmental variable. So let's copy the URL endpoint first. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code and we go to .env here. So the first one is going to be next_public ImageKit URL endpoint, which is going to be the link that we have copied. Let's paste it here. Then we want to have the ImageKit public URL. So this is going to start with the next public as well. These are public. So let's go in ImageKit and get that. So we can copy it from here. And after that, we're going to have our ImageKit private key. So for the private key, so let's just delete this. We can get it from here, private key. But in order to get that, we need to set a password first. So if the first time you need to just go to your profile and set a new password for yourself. So let's stay here and we set a password. Okay, submit. So now we have the password. We just go back to developers option, and here we get our private key. You just put your password and submit. You can just copy it now and paste it here. So now we have it inside .env. We need to make it type safe. So I'm gonna add it to my env.js. So inside the env.js, I'm just gonna add, for example, the image private key, which is a string. Then we have next underline image URL endpoint, which is a URL and also a string. And then we're gonna have the ImageKit. Both of them are endpoints. So I'm gonna, this is going to be the public key. So this is going to be the public key. Okay, that's fine. So ImageKit private key, public key, and endpoint. So let's go back to env.js. So that is the endpoint. And then we're gonna have the public key and also the ImageKit private key, but this is not a next public. This is just a normal key. And we want to add this one, ImageKit public endpoint is going to be process.env, next public image URL endpoint. Then we're going to have the public key, which is going to be process.env, next public. So I'm going to remove this next public from here because we're going to use it publicly as well. And also the image URL endpoint as well. So it's actually next public, but the naming is just going to be ImageKit URL endpoint. So let's see the error here. Here ImageKit private key I already added before. I'm going to delete this. Okay. So this error is saying that the next public shouldn't be the prefix here. So the prefix next public is going to be inside .env, but we don't need it to add it for the type safe. And then here, because we changed the name here, so we're gonna say without public endpoint here, and then we're gonna say the next public when we are getting it from .env. So now we don't have any error, and also our .env is safe as well. So let's go back to image.io. So the next things we need to do is to add our code snippet. For example, for React, they have this IK context and also IK image. For Next.js, they have similar things. We can install it. Let's go to ImageKit documentation. I'm going to show you how to use it inside Next.js and also how we can use their image public API and how we use the URL endpoint. So let's go back to their website and we go to here, image API from the platform. So as you can see, I'm going to show you one by one how we use this API URL. So for example, here in transform image in real time, we can resize with smart cropping. For example, as you can see from this example, there is an image of a person and a dog, and inside the URL, we just need to add TR for adding width and height. So TR stands for transformation. Then we have width 500 and height 500. But if you want to zoom smartly, for example, to the face of the person, you just say FO-face. And if you want to do it to the dog, we just say FO-dog. As you can see, they have AI-powered face detection and also object detection. So we're going to use this one in our application too, the face detection. Then we have the image, expanding image. That's a great feature. You just need to add bg-genfill, and you're going to get the image with a bigger size. So if you define the width and height in a bigger one, and also you see you get the bg-genfill, we get a generation fill here. The next things we have is the upscale. We're going to use this one in our project as well. So if you have a low resolution image, you can just upscale it. This is not interactive. So this is the URL, for example, of our image, car.jpg. Then we can just say tr e-upscale, and this is going to apply the upscale. As you can see, this one has better quality. And also they are using AI to do that. Next is the image background removal and also the drop shadow. We're gonna use background removal to our project as well. So you just simply add e-remove .bg to remove the background. As you can see here, the background is gone. And also if you want to add a shadow, you just say e-drop shadow. So these are very useful when you're using ImageKit. The next one, for example, responsive image. They have a responsive image. They have the image effect. For example, you can add rounded, and also you can have a border to your image by adding some examples here. So what we want to do is to use the AI powered one to our application. As you can see, even you can add a prompt to generate image. Here we are creating from the text prompt, and it's a donation event. So we're going to you can use that to create an image, and also you can create a different variation of an image. For example, if you have a sofa, you can add a logo to it. You can just do other changes, like we can have a different variation, and also you can have a different background. You can just add some prompt here. We just say, for example, change the background, and the prompt is going to be modern bathroom. Let me zoom this a little bit. You can see it better. So we can say change bg-prompt-modern bathroom, and you're going to change that. All right. So also they have the optimization, for example, the better output and the image compression, also the network optimization. And also if you want to add some overlay, for example, you want to add a text to your application, like here they want to add this text or this one, you can simply just change the URL. We just say text and then floral printed dress, and you can see the text like this. So it's very useful if you want to add other things, like you can have the different format, like you want to make a banner. If you want to have even, it works with the different languages. So these are things for the image API we want to use. So let's go to the documentation and see how we can apply this one to Next.js. So here inside the docs, we choose Next.js. Here we can see we can get the Next.js ImageKit SDK. So the things you can do, if you're using one great point I tell you, if you are using agent API, for example, if you're coding with agent, you can simply get this documentation and give it to the agent, and they're gonna install the Next.js ImageKit with the correct installation steps. So you can just copy this one and get all the instruction here. So for the installation and setup, we can use npm or yarn to install Next.js ImageKit Next. We can just copy this and we go back to Visual Studio Code. Let's add it in a different terminal. I'm gonna paste it here. So this was the first step to install it. And if you want to use it as an image here, you can see that ImageKit is using actually this tag image. It's similar to the Next.js tag. So once you import it from ImageKit Next, you can just simply get this tag. You can add your URL endpoint that we have defined in our environmental variable here. So we can get it from the environmental variable, and we can get the source, plus we can just add the width and height. So this is the way you use it, the image. And if you want to do some transformation, it's a bit different. If you wanted to just have a template and do not add the endpoint over and over, you can just simply wrap your application with ImageKit provider, and this is going to, you can add the URL endpoint here, and you don't need to add it anymore in your application. And then anywhere in your application, you can simply use this image. So let me show you some transformation, like for example, height and weight. if you want to change the height and weight, so you have this image tag, you can simply add transformation and you just add width, for example, 500 and height 500. So you can just change the width and height of the image. So easily you can add this in your application. So it's the same thing. You can add the URL endpoint, src, and you can remove this one and you can add it here. And also if you want to do the lazy loading, it's a very nice feature you can have. So once you come to your website, you see the image in the lower quality. And then it's going to increase the quality, which is going to increase the speed of your website. So you can just add lazy loading like this. And let's go to for example, another example for background removal, which we are going to use in our application. So simply you add transformation and add AI remove background to true to be able to remove the background. And if you want to add a drop shadow, for example, you can just say AI drop shadow true. For upscaling that we are using in our application as well, we can just say AI upscale true. So these are, if you want to just add the width and height in arithmetic way, you can just do it like this as well. So let's go down more. So for uploading purposes, as you know from our project, first we need to upload our image, and then we can just add the transformations in our application. So first we want to do the uploading. So for the uploading, we need to follow these instructions like the file, the name, and token. So we need to get these and upload them to the ImageKit. I'm going to show you how to do it simply. So in the app router in Next.js that we are using, we can just simply create a file inside the API called route.ts. And in this file, we're going to use something called get upload auth parameters. So first thing first, we want to be sure that the person is uploading the image is authenticated. So in order to check the authentication, we need to use this method. We want to pass our private key plus the public key. And this one is going to give us the public key as a return, the signature, expiry date, and token. So we can use them to be sure the person is authenticated or not. And if you want to use that in your application, for example, you want to upload, so we need to import these things from ImageKit Next. For example, the upload method. So once you define your useref and user state, you can even track the progress of the upload. For example, we just say progress. It starts with 0, and this is going to calculate the progress of the upload. And here we want to create a new controller, new instance for the abort controller, and then we're gonna have this function authenticator. So we're gonna fetch a response from our API endpoint that we have created here. So once we get it, if there is an error, we want to throw an error. Otherwise, we want to get this information like signature, expire, token, also the public key. Otherwise, we want to throw an error as well here. And finally, we want to use this function handle upload to upload the file. So here there are some, for example, if there's no file in the input and the length is, for example, is equal to 0, we want to throw an error. Otherwise, we want to choose the file and we want to do the upload here. So first thing first, we want to just try and catch, authenticate the user, get these signatures. And finally, we want to use the method upload to upload the image. So in order to use this upload, we have to pass this information. These we are getting from the authentication. Then we want to pass the file, which we can get from the input of our application. For example, we are adding a file input. We want to get the name. We want to pass the file name based on the name of the file. And we can also track the progress of the upload and set it to our this piece of state that we have defined here. So everything is here. We have the progress, and finally we can see the upload response. The upload response is, I think it's going to, I believe they're gonna return the URL of the upload file. And if there is an error, we can just catch the error. So we can use this sample code, which we can get from the ImageKit documentation to create our upload. And also, I mentioned before, if you're using an agent, you can just copy this doc here and give it to the agent, and it's going to easily create the code exactly based on this documentation with all the nice things. And finally, as you can see, the return is going to be like this. We want to add the input in our application and also a button to upload it. And also we can see the progress as well. So it's very simple to do it. So we're going to create, first thing first, we want to create this API. So let's start with creating this API, and then we're going to continue creating the other things in our application. So let me just create this file in our application. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code. We go to, let's go to the app, SRC app. We already have the API. So I'm going to create a new folder called upload-auth, and then a file called route.ts. So now we go back to the documentation. We can grab this code. So I want to make it unique for our application. For example, we are using .env instead of process.env because we have made this one type safe. So let's go back here. So let's first import the get upload of parameters from the ImageKit-next-server. And also we want to import the env that we have added our environmental variable. And then we want to export a synchronous function with the get request. So let's close this. And also I want to add a try and catch. So try and catch. Here inside the try, we can just get the token, expire, and signature from get upload of parameters. We're going to pass our private key and the public key. Then it's going to have a response. We get the token, expire, signature, public key, and URL endpoint. And finally, inside the error, we can simply console log, console the error, upload of error, and pass the error. And also we want to return the response with the error and also the status of 500. So let's just close this. All right, now that we have this API route, let's go back to ImageKit. So now we want to have this upload functionality. So before that, we need to create another page for our application. So we want to create another page in our application, in our dashboard called create. So we just need to have a folder in our dashboard folder, and then we have a file called page.tsx, and this is going to create a route in our application with /dashboard/create. So let's do that. Let's go back to our dashboard. Inside this folder, we're going to create a new folder called create. Then we have a file called page.tsx. For now, let's create a React functional component, and we call this one create page. So let's go back to our application now. Now, if you click on create, we should be redirected to this page, create page that we have created. So let's test this. Let's test this one, this example. We see that how it works. So let's just copy this code and we paste it here. Let's see if we are getting any error. Okay, the file is undefined. So let's see. So we have this input. Let's see if we are getting any error here. Let's refresh this page. Okay, now we get this. Let me see. You can choose the file now. So we can choose the file, but I don't know why I cannot see this input. Let me check the input. I think it's hidden. Let's try. So let's choose an image. Let's go back to my downloads. So let me choose an image. For example, this image. So once we choose that, let's see if we are getting any errors. It's a 200. Okay. This is the progress bar. It's already chosen. Let's click on upload file. Okay, it's the progress is working. It's already completed. Let's go to our ImageKit dashboard. Let's go to media library. Now we should see the image here. As you can see, the image is uploaded here. So the upload was successful. Let's click on this. So this is the image and this is the URL for that. As you can see here, it's very nice. You can even do, for example, the remove background. And also you want to have a custom metadata. For example, you can add some tags for this one. You can add it. Here you can add a tag. You can auto tag. For example, if I click here, add auto tag. So let's see. Now we have some tags. For example, we have logo, person, mail, and other things. Let's remove the background. I just choose no background. Okay, let's see. So here, I don't see the background change. Maybe we need to do it in a different way. So let's try it in our application. Okay, now if you click on the edit, you can see the background is already removed. So that's fine. So let's go to, let's click on download. Now you can download it here. So everything is working fine. So I want to just show you that how the upload functionality works using their SDK and their documentation. But we want to have it some more the better UI. So I'm going to create the UI. And also we want to have the ability to add this image. Once we create this image, we want to add it to our database, which is Neon. So we want to have we want to save it inside this table called project. So in order to do that, we need to create some actions in our application. So we need to add some actions and we call it, for example, projects.ts. And the things we want to add, for example, we want to be able to add the project, we want to edit the project, and also we want to get the project. So we need to create a couple of actions to be able to save and update our project. So let me open this one in a new tab. Okay, now we don't have the background. And also we can see that the URL is imagekit.io. This is my URL that I'm using. So I can share this one with everyone if I want to. So I want to show you how to add this URL transformation once we complete our project. So we go back now. So I don't want to do this way that they've done. We're going to do it ourselves. So I'm going to delete this one for now, or we want to return this one to the create page. So let's do it firstly in our way. So let's go to the actions. I'm going to create some actions to be able to save these uploads to our database as well. So I'm going to create a new file called projects.tsx. So this is going to be a server action. So the user cannot see this code, that this is protected. First thing first, we want to import our database, authentication, and also the headers from Next headers, because we want to be sure that the person is authenticated using these actions. Then we want to define the types. So the type is going to be the URL is a string, also the ID, the file name, and also we want to have the name. So the first function we want to create is called create project. So to create project, first thing first, we want to authenticate the user. So first we get the session from our get session from the authentication. And if there's no session, we want to throw an error. We say unauthorized. Otherwise, we want to create a new project. Based on the data we get from the input of this project, this data, which it has the type here. So the data is going to have the image URL, ImageKit ID, file path, and name. So once we have this data, we can create the project using this method .create. And we want to pass the data, which is going to be the name. It can be the data.name, or if there's no name for the project, we just call it untitled project. Then we have the image URL. We can get from this data.image URL, and then we have the ID of the ImageKit, plus we have the file name, file path, and also the user ID, which we can get easily from this session that we have created here. And if there's no session, we don't go to this part because we're gonna get an error. Then if everything is all right, we're gonna return a success message, and we're gonna return the project that we have created. Otherwise, we want to throw an error. The next action we want to create is to get the user project. So each user, we want to show the projects of the users in the dashboard here. Let's see if now we are getting an error here, but in the final version, we can see we have the projects. We want to show them here, and also we want to show them inside the create as well. And also we need them inside dashboard. So this is similar. If there's no authentication, we want to throw an error. Otherwise, we want to search all the projects of the person using this find many method. We want to pass the user ID, and we get it based on descending. So the new projects are coming first. So this is the same. We're gonna return the true and also all the projects. The next action, which is very important, because when we are letting the user use our like a creation and edit something else. For example, in ImageKit, once we remove the background, they're gonna decrease some credits from our dashboard. So they give us 600 credits for AI transformation, but it's not. So we need to have some system to manage these credits and let our users use our application, but they need to have to, we want to use these free credits to give the users some free ones. For example, here, first we give them 3 credits, but I want to charge them 1 credit based on some transformation. For example, removing the background, I want to charge them, for example, 2 credits. For upscaling, I want to charge them 1 credit, and also I want to give them some free tools like, for example, we want to zoom to the face of the user or object. We want to use that. I think it's completely free in ImageKit, so I'm going to give them free as well to my users. So based on that, so we want to create an action to decrease the number of credits based on the usage of our application. So here, let's just paste this action. So we're gonna call this one deduct credits. So here, this is very important. We need to actually make a mechanism so they cannot cheat using this function. They cannot add negative numbers or something. They cannot increase their credits or bypass the system. So first thing first, we wanna pass the information here, credits to deduct. As I mentioned, for example, for background removal, I want to decrease 2 credits. So I can pass 2 and decrease it. And also we add the operation here. So we use try and catch. Here, the mechanism I'm using to prevent negative numbers and invalid inputs. For example, if there is no credits to deduct, or if it's less than or equal to 0, we want to throw an error. So we're going to return, and if it's not integer as well, we want to return success false and error invalid credit amount. So this way, they cannot have 0 credits or negative credits for their application. This is basically a very secure because it's in the server side, but in case someone can just come and have access to our server by bypassing some, I don't know, hack our website or whatever, they cannot add credits to their application. So this was the protection. And also we want to check the authentication of the user. If there's not, they are not authenticated, we want to throw an error as well. And first thing first, we want to check if the user has enough credits, because if they have 0 credits or they're less than enough, for example, they need 2 credits for background removal, but they only have 1 credit. So we want to check everything here. So we want to check the credits first. We get the information of the user. We want to get the credits. First thing first, if there is no user, we want to throw an error. And also if the credits is less than the credits to deduct, for example, this one is 2 and this one is 1, we want to return an error. We say success false, and also we're going to throw an error saying insufficient credits. And finally, we want to update the user and add the credits here. For example, we just say credits, the credits they have minus the credits to deduct. So for example, this one is 10, this one is 2, and then we're going to have 8 credits. So we're going to update that one to 8. And then we want to return success, and we show the remaining credits, which is the one that we have updated. Updated user.credits. And also, if there is an error, we want to throw an error, fail to conduct, and we want to have, these are just actually, I was testing, you don't need to use them. I'm going to delete these things. So this is basically the best one I have created. You can use for any projects, for your following projects. In the next projects, if you want to use some deducting credits, this is the best practice I found and tested myself. So these are all the actions we needed to create, update, and get the users' projects. So now that we have all the actions necessary, let's complete our create page. We need to import some necessary things here. First thing first, this is a use client page because we want to have some interactivity with the page. We need to click on it. Also, we need to use some hooks like user state, use effect in this page. All right, so first thing first, if this person is not authenticated, we want to redirect them to the signing page. Otherwise, we want to show this page. So we're going to import this one from Better Auth UI. Let me deactivate this GitHub Copilot suggestion. All right, so now the next things, we need to have some icons to our application, like we need for the loading effect. We want to have the upload icon, X icon, also the image icon, scissors, download, expand, target, rotate, and also the minus. So here, let's import the auth client from our auth client that we have created. We need to authenticate the user based on this file. We need to import some hooks like use effect for getting the information in this page, user state to create some states. And also we want to have user ref because we want to have a specific upload functionality that's going to refer to the upload file, that input. And also we need use router to navigate the user from one page to another. Let's import some components from ChatCN UI like button and input. And also we need to install this card as well. So if you go to ChatCN and we just go to card, as you can see, we want to create something like that. So we need to import, install it using this code. Let's go back to our terminal and paste it here. Let's clear the page. Okay, this is going to install card. So if you now see that we don't get any error. The other things we need from ChatCN is toast from Sonar. So we want to show some toast notification as well. Also, we need to have our environmental variables here. For example, for ImageKit, we need that. So we're going to import env from the env.js file that we have. And let's import ImageKit next. We need it for upload. And also we want to use that ImageKit image. I just changed the name of this one because we are using this here as well, the image icon. So because of the conflict of the naming, I changed this one to ImageKit image and also the image icon. Next things we need to have is our actions. We have created 3 actions: create projects, get user projects, and also to deduct credits, all coming from the actions folder, this file that we have created. Next, we need to define some TypeScript here. One is for the uploaded image, which is going to have the file ID, which is a string, URL, name, and file path. And also we want to have it for a project. The project is going to have the ID, name, image URL, ImageKit ID, file path, user ID, created at, and updated at. First thing first, we want to initialize the router from the use router hook so we can redirect the user from any other pages we would like. Then we want to have some pieces of states for example, loading, uploading, and etc. So for example, we want to show the loading effect. So once we are loading the page, and also when we are uploading the image, we want to see the uploading like an effect. And then the uploaded image also is going to have a URL. So, and the initial value is going to be null. For the loading of the page, the initial value is true. And also for the uploading, it is false. Next, we want to have some other piece of states. First one is for transformations. So we're going to have 3 transformations in our project. If you look at the final version and we go to create, and let me just choose one image. For example, this image, we can do the remove background, upscale, and also we want to have this cropping, a smart crop. For example, here I just say face and apply it. It's going to zoom to the face, crop it to the face. So basically, we're going to have different transformation. And also we want to have the processing. When we are processing the image, we want to have some loading effect as well. We want to show the user projects. So if you look at here inside the create, we want to see all the projects of the users. So we're going to create a piece of state for that. And also once we come here, when we refresh the page, and once we add a new image or something like that, here we're going to see some loading effect as well. So we're going to have the loading projects and also the object input, which is this one. This input, we want to track the changes here as well. So we're going to have another piece of state for doing that. Next, we want to have a reference for our input file. So here, if you remove this one, you can see our uploading, instead of showing the input of the regular input of the HTML, we see a button. In order to reference to the input with the type of file, we can use ref here. So now we have all the states needed. Next, we want to initialize and authenticate the user. Remember, we did this one before. In our Next.js, you can see here, first we want to authenticate the user. Let me check. Yeah, here we want to fetch a data from this API route that we have created, this API route, upload auth route.ts. We want to use this function to authenticate the user, and we be sure that the authenticated user is going to upload the image. So we're going to use the get upload authentication. We're going to call this function, which is going to fetch the data from this API route. Then if the response is not okay, we want to fail. Otherwise, we want to return the response. So this is the first function we want to add. So here we're going to have another function to select the file. So if you look at the final version, you can see once we click on this image, we can select the file. It actually triggers an input with the type of file. So here we're gonna select the file, and if there is a file in the current, we want to just click and select that specific file. And also we want to set the uploaded image to null. If we have an uploaded image already, we're going to set it to null. And also the transformation, we want to set it to empty array, because once we select a new file, we want to add new transformation. So now we want to add the function for uploading the files. So we're going to create a function called upload file. And this is asynchronous because we need to wait until the upload completed. First thing first, we want to get the file from the input, which we can get it from the event.target.files. And we want to get the first file. If there are more than one files, we want to get one. Actually, the person only allowed to upload one file at a time. But in case they upload more than one files, we want to get the first one. Here, we want to say if there's no file or the type is not image, we want to return null. So we're going to don't return anything in the upload section. Otherwise, we want to just go to the end of this function by this return. Otherwise, we want to set the uploading to true. So we have the uploading effect, that the loading effect for uploading. Then we want to have a try and catch a statement. First, we want to get the authentication from the function that we have created. Remember, inside this here, we have created a function that is going to check the authentication, for example, the public key and etc. And if its person is authenticated, we want to continue. So we want to upload the image using the upload function from ImageKit, this function that we have imported from ImageKit. We want to pass this information, the file. We want to send the file name, and also we want to set a folder. Now, inside ImageKit, the files are uploaded here. If you go to media library, it's uploading it inside the root. But I want to have a separate folder just for this project. So here, we want to add the folder. We can call it AI Image Editor or whatever you like. This is just the naming. Then we want to add the authentications. So if this person is not authenticated, we're going to get an error when we are uploading. Once the upload is completed, we get the data from ImageKit, which includes the file ID, the URL, and the name. Also, we get the file path. So everything we can get. Actually, first we just have a variable, uploaded data. First, the initial value is going to be this one. Otherwise, so if there is no result from here, we want to set it to empty string. But if we have the result, we want to set it inside the result. So this is going to be the uploaded data. And as remember, we have created a piece of state called uploaded image. We want to set the uploaded image to this uploaded data. And finally, we want to save this data, this image that I've uploaded, inside our Neon database. So inside Neon, remember we have a project here. Inside the project, we want to add the information. For example, name, the image URL, ImageKit ID, file path, user ID, and etc. So we're going to pass the image URL, ImageKit ID, and also file path, and finally the name. And if this one is successful, we want to update the user project. So you look at the final version. Once we upload a new image, for example, I choose an image here. Let's choose this image. Once we upload that, we're going to update these projects that we are showing here under that. So this is going to be added here, as you can see. So we want to set the user projects to this updated one. Otherwise, we want to throw an error. And also, we want to catch any error. For example, for the database, we want to send this error. And finally, if everything is successful, we want to toast a notification saying upload successful. Otherwise, we want to toast a notification saying upload failed. And finally, we want to set the is uploading to false. So now, first, let's add the loading effect. For example, here we can say if is loading, show this loader. So if you go to our website, once we come here, the loading must be true, and we should see the loading effect as you can see here. So we see the loading effect now, but once all the information came, we want to remove this loading effect and show the projects of the user. So let's do it here. For example, here I want to just return an empty fragment, and then I want to say if the person is not authenticated, send it to the signing page. Otherwise, just show it here. So let me check if we are getting an error. Here we want to add something for now. So let's add something here. For example, this one. So if the person is authenticated, we want to just say create AI images and upload and transfer images with AI tools. So if you look at the final version, now we have the loading effect here. So now we see the loading effect because it's always loading. Loading is true at the beginning. Let me show you here. So let's search for loading. Yeah, the loading is true at the beginning. We want to get the information of the projects, and when it's available, we want to show those information. So I'm gonna add a use effect React hook here. So we want to initialize the data. First, we want to get the session, and so once we get this session, we want to let's check the other pages like this one. Dash, we have created setting, for example. In the setting, once we get the session. If there's no session, we want to avoid the check session, and we want to set the loading to false if everything is okay. So here we do the same things in the create. So we get the session. If the person is not authenticated, it's going to throw an error for us. And also we want if everything is okay, we want to set the loading to false and also set the is loading projects to false as well. So what we do here is we get the projects. We use the get user projects that we have created here in this action, this function, get user projects. So once we get the projects, which is this array, we want, if this one is successful, we want to set the user projects to this array. And then if there is an error, we want to show the error. Otherwise, we want to set the loading to false. Let's check our application now. Now, when we refresh the page, first we should see the loading effect. Then, after a while, we see the create AI image because the person is authenticated, and also we got the information of the projects as well. So we can show the projects in our here as well. So we can, like the final version, we can see the recent projects here. So let's do that. So here, after this sign in, and here at the end, I just want to say if the is loading projects is true, we want to show the loading effect. Otherwise, we want to show the projects. So let's add this one first. Let me just remove this GitHub Copilot for now. So for the loading effect, I just want to say loading your projects and fetching your creative works, show them here. And in this part, we also have another condition. If the projects, user projects more than 0, we want to show something. So here's the code. So I'm going to show you. So first thing first, if the projects are more than 0, and first we want to show the first 12 because we want to have some sort of pagination. So we want to show the projects, and we want to map through them, all the projects, and show them one by one. And also we want to use the ImageKit, the image from the ImageKit to show the images. And here we need to get our .env. Here we don't need the next public actually, ImageKit URL, because we are getting it from this .env.js. Here we didn't add the public, this one, so the endpoint. And here we want to pass the project's file path. The name, the width is going to be 300 to 300 because we want to show only this size. So here we can use the width and height, and also we want to add some sort of a hover effect. When we hover over them, we want to see this hover effect. And for the transformation, we just want the width and height to be 300. And also we want to crop it to maintain the ratio and the quality to be 90. So we added some overlay. As you can see, we see the name, and also we can click on them. So these are the overlays. For the name, we just show it here. And also we have a button for edit. When we click on it, this is going to be added in the ops. When we click on it, you can see it here. And finally, if it's more than 12, we want to have show some button to show the rest of the projects. And after that, if there is no project, we want to show something else as well. So here we can say otherwise, and here we can just add this. I think I added more. Let's delete this. Okay, so otherwise we want to say we just show an image icon here and just say no projects yet. Start your creative journey by uploading your first image and transforming it with AI. So if you look at our project, let's refresh the page here. When we scroll down, you can see what we see here, no projects yet. Start your creative journey by uploading your first image and transform with AI. The reason it's here under it, because we want to add the preview and update image here at the top. So now it's time to add the other parts, which is this upload section, this upload image section, and also the ability to add the effects and see the preview. So let's go back. Now here's at the top. So here we have the this title and also to see the projects. After this one, we're gonna show the uploading effect. So let's add a div here first. So here we're gonna add our effects and preview. First thing first, we wanna check if there is a uploaded image. If there's no uploaded image, we wanna show the upload image section. So let's close this and let's add a condition here. We just say if there's no uploaded image, do this one. Otherwise, do something else. So first we add these two. So here, let's add some div here. Also, let's close the other div. Let me just copy this one. Here, we want to add another condition as well. So we just say, if is uploading, show this. Otherwise, show something else. And then let's close this as well. So if it's loading, we want to see this div that is saying uploading your image and also the processing. So it's kind of effect here. Let's fill up these things and test these things first. I'm gonna just add an empty fragment for now. And also this one, let's add an empty fragment so we don't get an error. And we can test our application now. We just set the is loading to true. This one is true. Let's add the is uploading to true to test it. So let's go to our application here. So once we have this one, we can see the uploading effect here. So uploading your image, processing your file with image, AI image. So this is the loading effect. So once we make this one false, this is going to go away. Now that we don't have loading, we want to see the upload section. So let's go. So after this one, we want to say if there is no loading, show the upload section. So this is going to be just a background decoration. And also we have some images here. And here we're going to tell the user upload your image and create to browse and select your image, transform it with powerful AI tools. And also we want to show them the supported formats like JPG, PNG, and WebP. And finally, we have a button that is going to, once we click on them, we're going to call a function called select file that we have created here at the top, select file, which is going to select the file from the input. And once we choose our file, we're going to call this function. And also we have an input here with the type of file, but this is going to be hidden because we want to use this one, refer this one using this file input reference. Here, I think we need to remove these two divs to remove the error. Okay, let's check our application. So now we should see this one. Let's see why we have a lot of space here. So after this create AI image, we have a lot of space. See this problem. I think this div is going to cover all the page, not only this section, because we have a minimum height screen here. So this div is going to be here at the bottom, I think. Let's add that one. I think here maybe. Let's check our website. Now it's working. We have the title, we have this upload, and also this project section. Let's check. We can now choose any file. So let's check, choose a file. Let's choose some files here. Let me check this PNG file. As you can see, it's working. They're uploading our image and processing the file. Let's check we got some error. attempted to access the server-side environment variable on the client, the ImageKit URL. I think the problem is that next public one. So let's go back to our application and change this one to the next public again, or we check if we are not passing that one inside the .env. So env, we have here next public URL endpoint. That's okay. And public. And here we have this ImageKit URL endpoint and public key. And inside the .env, this is the next public endpoint. That's correct. So I think here inside this env, we need to change this one to next public as well. So this one, we just change it to next public. And let's change this one as well. That's endpoint. Or here we don't need, so let me check why we are getting this error here. So it's not accessing the type. Okay, here I think inside the client we need to add that one. So we need to add this. Let me just fix this one. So inside the client we just say ImageKit URL endpoint. So the another error now, we have this runtime env. So there's something missing here, which is our ImageKit URL endpoint. So we have added the public one, but we need to add this this one as well. So let's add that one here. So we're gonna add that one, image URL endpoint. So now we have both the image URL endpoint and also the public one. So now let's go back to our application. Let's refresh the page. You can see even we are getting any error as well. So let's go back. Let's go back to dashboard. We are still getting this error. Okay, because we have changed the environment, we need to stop the server now. So we stop the server and restart it again. So here we are getting an error, invalid environmental variables, invalid type, have ImageKit URL endpoint. So ImageKit URL endpoint. Let's just here we move this public one here at the bottom. So next public ImageKit URL, and I think this URL endpoint. Yeah, this one should be next public as well. So let's refresh the page. Let's run the server. And hopefully we don't get an error this time. So now the page is refreshing. All right, so let's go to create. Okay, so still getting an error. Attempt to access the server-side variable on client. Okay, now we have to change this one in our page.tsx. So we go to page.tsx and change this one to this. Here in our, let's search for the image. Okay, so here we need to just change this one to public. So let's see if you're getting any errors this time. Should be fine this time because we have already fixed that. As you can see now, we are getting these projects that we have uploaded. And also if you check the neon, let me just go back to our project here. Let's go to the tables. And here's inside the table. In the project, you can see now we have one project and everything is here, like file path, user ID, created at, and also the ImageKit ID, and also the URL, which is here. Everything's fine. And inside the ImageKit, now if we refresh this page, we see a new folder called AI Image Editor. And if you click on it, we can see that the image is uploaded here. All right, so in the next section, now what we want to do is to add the preview and also add these things. For example, here, if I choose an image, you can see the preview here, and any effects we add is going to be added to this image. So in order to achieve this, we need to add some functions, like one function to remove the background, one function to upscale, and also for this one, and also some functions to upload when we click on this one and the other things. So let's, for example, try this face, apply. So another function we need is to download and clear all and everything else. So let's try to add all these functions first. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code and we go up here. Let's add all the functions we needed before this loading. The first function is to get the live preview transformations. So it's just a simple function. Once we call this function, we got all the transformations we have, including the remove background, upscale, and etc. Then we want to have a helper function to understand if we have transformation or not. So we're gonna have a function called has transformation, and we want to know if we have background removal, upscale, or object cropped transformations. If they are true, we're gonna return true. Otherwise, we want to return false. So the next function is going to be used for removing the transformation. So we're going to create a function called remove transformation. For example, any one we choose, for example, background or upscale or object crop, once we call this function, we can just return false for that one and remove that function. So now it's time to add the functions for all the effects. The first function we want to add is to remove the background. So let's create that function. We're going to call this function remove background. So if there is no uploaded image, we want to return. So we don't allow this function to work. And then if already we have a transformation background, also we want to return as well. Otherwise, we want to set the is processing to true, and we're gonna do that function. So first thing first, we want to deduct some credits. So as I mentioned, for removing background, we can, for example, deduct 1 credit or 2 credits. And let's try to remove 2 credits. And if the credits result was not successful, we want to say failed to process payment. Otherwise, we are sure that the credit is deducted successfully. Then we want to apply the background removal transformation. So as I mentioned, we discussed earlier in ImageKit documentation, we could easily add AI remove background to true to add the transformation for removing the background. I'm going to show you again as a reminder. So this is a Next.js. And if you go to background removal using AI, you can see we can easily add AI remove background to true to transformation to remove the background. So here we added this one to our transformation. So whatever we add before, because we want to do sometimes 2 or 3 transformation together, so we just keep the previous one and add this AI remove background to true to this transformation. So sometimes it takes time. So we set the processing to false and we just wait for 3 seconds to be sure that everything is working fine. And also we want to toast a notification saying background removed. And for example, 1 or 2 credits or the number of credits here is remaining. For example, here we have now 210 credits. If you use 2, it's going to say 208 credits remaining. And also we use router refresh to refresh the page. Not refreshing the page, we refresh all the states in the page. And also we set the is processing to false at the end here. So that was it for removing the background, that function. Let's add the other functions. So the next function is to add the upscale transformation. So it's very, very similar to that background removal. Just the function name is upscale image. If there's no image, we're going to return. And if we already applied this upscale transformation, we want to return as well and send a toast notification with the message image upscaling is already applied. But otherwise, we want to set the processing to true, and we want to use try and catch to deduct the credits first. So for upscaling, I want to use 1 credit because in ImageKit use 5 credits to remove the 10 credits to remove the background and 5 credits to do the upscale. So the price of removing the background is actually double than upscaling. So I'm going to use 1 for this one. And for the smart crop, as ImageKit doesn't charge any credits, so I'm going to make it free for our application. So if there's no credit result, we want to return an error. Otherwise, we want to apply the upscaling transformation, which is AI upscale true. So if you check again inside this documentation, let's check this upscale. Let me search. Yeah, upscaling. For upscaling, we can just add AI upscale true to add this transformation. So we keep the previous transformation and add AI upscale true to add the new transformation. Also, we want to wait 3 seconds. And after that, we want to show the remaining credits as before. So it's the same as removing background. And finally, if there is an error, we want to show the error. So let's add the next function. So the next function is for a smart crop. So let's add it here. It's very similar. It's called object crop. If there's no image, we're going to return. And if we already applied the object crop, we're going to just toast a notification saying the smart object crop is already applied. And here, because we have an input, if you look at the final version, you can see we have input here. So we need to define the object we want to zoom. So as we have input, we have to be sure the input is not empty. So we're going to trim this. Trim means removing all the spaces after the text. So if there is no text, we're going to return, please enter an object to focus on. So if there is no input, we're going to return that. Otherwise, we want to set the is processing to true. And we want to try first, we want to clean the input. What we do with the input is trim it, so remove the spaces. And also we want to make it lowercase. So it's easier to apply it. And after that, we want to const transformation. This is going to be like this. For example, we just say FO dash and the object. So the object, for example, it's face. It's, for example, dog or whatever. We just say FO dash dog, and then aspect ratio is 1:1. And now we have this transformation. We added to the previous transformation. For example, we added the background removal already. So we want to keep that one. We add this transformation to that. Also, we want to set a timeout, 2 or 3 seconds. It doesn't matter. And we want to set the processing to false, and we're going to toast a success notification saying smart crop applied focusing on this object, for example. But we are not charging the customers here because it's a free feature we have added to our application. So this is a best practice to do. And I'm just want to remind you this. So this project is just an example of how to make a SaaS project. So in this project, we have the free feature and also the paid features. So we have all of them here. So it's just the 3 examples I have added. The AI effects, you can have as much as effects you want in this in the project, and also you can use these projects for something else. For example, for video editor or sound generation, text to speech, or whatever. Because you have the credit system, you have the deduction of the credit, also anything you need for a SaaS project. So now, we have applied this this function as well, which is for object cropped. Let's add the next next function. So the next function is to clear the transformation. So in the final version, we have this button, clear all. Once we click on it, we clear all the transformation, and the image is going back to its original. So here we just we use this function we set the transformation to an empty array, and we toast a notification saying all transformations cleared. The next function we want to use is when we apply any sort of effects, we want to download that. By clicking on download, we're going to open this image, this new transformed image in a new tab, and the person can see this image, and also they can download it. For example, you can just save the image as they wish. So this function, it's very simple. We're going to add it now. So here after this, we're going to add this function. This function is called download image. So if there's no image, we want to return. Otherwise, we want to we want to use query selector to get this kind of image and make the URL. So the URL, we're going to use the main image src, or we want to use the endpoint of the ImageKit and add the uploaded image.file path. So based on that, we have this new image and we want to open it in a new tab. So we just say URL, this URL, we underline blank. So in this way, it's going to open it in a new tab. And finally, we want to toast a notification saying download started. So it's very simple to just let the users download exactly the same image. Now all the functions are created. We can add the effect and also the preview in our project. So if you remember, we have added this upload functionality, but otherwise, if there is no, when the image is selected, we want to show something else here. So we want to apply the rest here. So let me just paste the code here. It's just the JSX code. So on the left side, we have the effects and the controls. So first thing first, we want to just say AI FX or transfer your image. Let me show it here. Let's choose an image. Let's just, let me just refresh the page. Now, if we choose, for example, our previous image that uploaded, you can see it in the preview. So what we are adding here is the AI FX and transfer your image, which we are getting here. Then we have a button to remove the background. So this button, now as you can see, it's just say 1 credit, but we can just change it to 2 credits. Let me just update this one. We just say 2 credits like this. And so once we click on the remove background, we're gonna disable this function. And what we want to do is to make if the is processing is true, we want to say processing, and after that we just say remove BG. And as you can see now here, and then also if we have the transformation background, we want to show a different button with the icon minus to remove this transformation. So let's try this one first here. So let's click on remove background. So the credits is already 210. Let's click on this. So as you can see, the loading effects is here. Okay, so yeah, the credit is now 208. And here we have a check mark. And also we have a minus button to remove it. As you can see, the background is already removed. So by pressing on this icon, we're gonna return it back to this its normal things. Let's click on this. So this is going to have the effect. So 208 credits. Let's click again. Okay, now 208 must be 206. Okay, it's working fine for the background removal. Let's go to our application and check the upscale image. For the upscale image, we want to do the same thing, same system, but we want to charge them 1 credit. So I'm gonna add 1 credit here. So here, by clicking on upscale, we wanna remove the 1 credit. And same as before, if we already have this upscale, we wanna be able to remove this upscale. So let's try this. I don't know if it's visible here or not. Let me just upload another image that has the lower quality. So let me just choose this image. Let's upload it first. I think it has a lower quality. If you look at the face, it's a little bit low quality. So let's just click on AI upscale. So it's already applied, and you can see the upscale is checked, and we have lower credit, and we can see that even the text is better quality, and also the face and everything else. So let me just click on download. We should see it in, yeah, it's completely different image now with a better quality. Okay, so that's it for this upscale. Let's remove this one. By removing, you just pay attention to the image. You can see the quality is much lower. So the next one is the image smart object crop. The only difference is we have input here, and based on this input, we want to get the object from the input. So by changing inside the input, we want to save this object in this piece of state, saying set object input to e.target.value. And so all the same things, and AI crop around a specific object in 1-to-1 ratio. And also we have a button that is going to add this crop. And finally, if we have this transformation, we can remove it like this. So let's try this one as well. So let's, for example, zoom on the face of this person. We just say apply. As you can see, it's cropped over the face of this person. And also now we can also apply the remove background with the same ratio. So I want to show you how to have two effects at the same time. So now we're going to apply the remove background. So we have now 203 credits. So as you can see, the background is removed, and we have also zoomed to the face of the person. So the next things we have here, if we have transformations already, we want to show a button. First thing first, we want to show how many transformation is applied. So now you can see the two applied here, two transformation applied, because we have applied this one and this one. So based on the numbers, we want to see it here. This is this section. And also we want to be able to clear all of them. So we want to use the clear transformation by clicking on this button. Let's try that. As you can see, the background removal is now not applied, and also we don't have this smart object crop. So the next things we want to see, let's try to apply this one again. We want to have this button upload and also the download. So here we have this upload button, which is going to select the file. And for the button, for the download button, we're going to call this function download image. So which is going to open the image in a new tab. So, and then on the right side, we have the image preview. So the image preview is just the first thing first. We want to show the name of the image. We just save the title preview and the name of the image. As you can see here, the preview and the name of the image. Then we want to be able to, if we click on this button and this cross icon, we want to remove the image. So once we click on it, as you can see, the image is gone by just setting the upload image to null. As simple as that. And this is just for the loading effect. When is processing is true, we want to say AI processing, please wait. And also we want to, here we want to show the image. So the image that we, for example, choose here, we want to show it also with the ImageKit, this tag. We want to pass the URL endpoint, which we get from the environmental variable, the source path, and the width and height. And also we want to have the class name. And also we want to apply all the transformations, which we can see in the get live preview transformation. If you go to this function, we can see we just return all the transformations we have. For example, remove background, upscale, or the smart crop. So I think that was it for this part. We have applied everything. So on the right side, we just preview the image, and we also have the loading effect. So that was it. for this part. And also we have here the is loading project and see the projects here as we did it previously. But also I want to add some title here showing the recent project. So let's add this one here. Let's first add a div that covers this part. So let's just cover this project section with that div. I think it goes until here. Let's add this. I go more. So you have to add it here. So now we have another div that is covering this part. And above that, we want to apply the title. We can simply add this title here saying your projects and also continue editing your previous creations. Let's check this one. Let's refresh the page first. So we are getting an error here. I think we just see that we are missing some expected closing tag. So let's see. I think I've added that closing tag in a bad place. Let's bring it. Let's just remove that first. Let me just remove this div. Let me add it here, but I want to close it just after this. So let's just cut this and put it here. Yeah, we are just, I think, missing one div here. So let me just add another div here. Okay, now we don't get an error. Let's check. Okay, now we are seeing this your recent projects, continue editing your previous creations. So any of them we click, we can see them at the top. That's fine. So that was it for the create page. The only things left is this dashboard and projects. So for now, let's add this one to the GitHub. So let's choose everything here. Let's create a message. So integrate ImageKit for image upload and processing. Let's remove this. Let's commit and push this one. So in the next section, we're going to work on the dashboard and also the project. It's very similar because here we have the projects. So we do the same things to get the projects and show it here inside projects. The only difference is having the ability to search through them, and also some sorting effect. And also in the dashboard, we show the projects here. So that's the same things. And also we say the number of projects this month, this week, and also when the person is a member. And also we have the button to create, see the things. So if you click here, we go to this page. This one goes to this page, and it's very simple. So in the next section, we're going to complete our project, creating the dashboard projects, and also another things left is this, I think, customer portal page we forgot to create. So we're going to create that one. And after that, we're going to deploy our application to Vercel. So see you in the next section. All right, the last section, we have completed the create page. We have completed the ability to upload images, show the images in the project section, and also see the preview and also add the effects we needed to that. In this section, we're going to add the remaining pages, including the projects, dashboard, the customer portal, and also the homepage of our application. So let's start with the project section. As you can see, we don't have it now. If you look at the eraser.io, in order to create the projects page, inside the dashboard, we want to create a folder called projects, and then we want to have a file called page.tsx. So let's go to Visual Studio Code, and here let's close everything, go to src app directory dashboard. Inside the dashboard folder, we're going to create a new folder called projects, and then we're going to have page.tsx. So the code is completely similar to the one we create for the create page, because we have shown the projects before inside the create page. So we're going to use the same functions. The only difference is to add this search and sorting functionality. So let's just, I'm going to paste the code and explain it to you because it's very repetitive. I don't want to type it one by one. So I'm going to just show you the code and explain you the necessary and different code. So here's code. Let's first start from the top section. This is a use client-side component because we want to have some interactivity with the page, like clicking on using some React hooks. So if we import redirect to sign in and signing from Better Auth UI, because if the person is not authenticated, we want to redirect them to the signing page, or if they are authenticated, we want to show the page. We have imported some icons from Lucid React. Then we have Auth client to authenticate and check the user's authentication. We have some hooks from React. For example, use effect to fetch the data for getting the projects from Neon. And also we want to use these actions that we have created in the last section for getting the user's project. Then we want to use some ShatCN component like card content, button, input, and also we want to use router to navigate from one page to another. And also we are using ImageKit to show the images in this page as well. And also we need some environmental variables like URL endpoint for ImageKit. Then we have defined the types of the project, including everything that project has, like ID, name, and etc. Then we have included the type of the viewport, like grid and list. So if you look at the final version, you can see we can show them in grid or in list. So we want to see the type and also the sort by, which is newest, oldest, and name, which is here. Then we create the function projects page. We have some states for loading, putting the user's project, filters project, search query, whatever we type here, it's going to be in the search query. Then we have viewport, which is this one, and sort by, which is this section. Then we're going to initialize the router to be able to redirect the user to another page. First thing first, we want to get the initial projects. So we want to use effect. And first, we want to check the authentication of the user. If the person is authenticated, we want to get the result from the server action, get user project. If it's successful, we want to set the user projects to the result and also the filtered projects as well. So later when we change the filter project, we want to change this one. And finally, if there is an error, we want to show it. And we want to set the loading to false after getting all the data. So, and also for filtering and sorting the projects, we are using some use effect. So based on the user projects, we want to have some filter. For example, we want to filter based on the project name. So, and we want to first lowercase that, and then also whatever we put inside the search query, we want to filter them based on that. So for the sorting, we want to say if it's newest, we want to sort it like this. If it's oldest, it's going to be opposite. And if it's based on name, we want to filter them based on we compare it with the name. So it's going to be based on the alphabet. So then we want to set the filter projects to these filters that have applied. And finally, we want to have a function to handle the project click. So once we click on any projects, we want to go to the create page. So we're going to redirect the user to this dashboard /create. And if the is loading is true, we want to tell the user they are loading our projects. And here, if the person is not authenticated, they're going to be redirected to the signing page. Otherwise, we want to show them the page, which includes the title, which is here, use your projects, manage all your projects, which is here, and we show them the number of projects here. So we count the numbers and show them. And then we want to have a button saying new projects, which is going to redirect the user to the /dashboard /create. So the next one is the control bar, which is this section. First, we want to have an input for the search query, and whatever we type there is going to be set as the search query. And for example, we just say edited, the one with the edited comps, as you can see here. Then we want to sort them based on these options, newest, oldest, or name, which is here. For example, we just say oldest, name, and the newest. And want to toggle between the viewport. Once we click on it, for the first one, this is a grid, like showing like this. And this one show it like this one. So it's very simple. Based on the button, we want to set the viewport from grid to list. And based on that, we want to show different ways. So we want to show the projects here at the bottom. And if the length is equal to 0, so we don't have any projects, like we search something that doesn't exist, we want to say no projects found and no projects match this keyword. Try adjusting your search term, and then we can just click here to clear that. So here, as you can see, we just have a button. So if we don't have anything, no projects found. If we don't have completely don't have any projects, it's going to show this one, create your first project. Otherwise, we want to see this clear search, like this one, clear search. And if there is a project and there are more than one, there are more than 0, we want to show them. We want to map through all the projects and show them based on the viewport, the view mode. The view mode, if the view mode is grid, we want to show them in a grid system. And we want to use ImageKit to show each image based on their file path and name. And also we want to add this transformation. So also we want to show them the name and also the date. Okay, so here, and if they're in other way, when we don't have a viewport grid, we want to show them in a viewport of this viewport, which is going to be a horizontal layout. And we want to show them like this cart content, which has the image here, small, and then we have different formats for showing the title and etc. So here is a different way. That's the same thing, it's just a different showing based on the viewport. So, and if we have more projects, more than 20, we want to have a button showing more projects like this. So we don't have it now, but if you have more than 20, it's going to be a button for you to click on and show more projects. So let's check this one in our final version. Let's go to the projects. Let's refresh the page. Okay, now it's loading. Okay, now as you can see, we see our 2 projects. Let's search, for example, pizza. We see this project, and also we can show them in a different way. Let's sort them by oldest and based on name. So everything is working fine. All right, that was it for the showing the projects. Let's add this one to the GitHub. So we're gonna have a message, add projects page with project management features and UI component. So we're gonna commit and push this. So in the next section, we're going to work on the dashboard. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the projects section of our dashboard. In this section, we're going to work on the dashboard itself. We have already created this page. So we want to create it similar to the one in the final version. We want to have a loading effect. And also we want to show the total number of projects this month, this week, members since, and we want to have some buttons, and we want to show the recent projects. And here we want to see the name of the person. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. We go to dashboard, and we go to this page.tsx. Let me grab the code and just paste it here and explain it to you. It's similar to the other pages that we have created, because we have already done the actions and etc. It's a client side component because we want to have some interaction in the page. We want to have some icons, and also we want to have some Better Auth components to check the user authentication. So we want to get the get user projects from this action to be able to get the projects of the authenticated user. Then we want to have some components from chat.cn for showing the cards and also the button. And also we want to have the use router to be able to redirect the user from one page to another. And also we will use the ImageKit component to be able to show the images inside the projects, the cards. So first thing first, we want to define the types of the projects, including the ID, name, and etc. Then we want to have the user stats. So user stats basically is this section. So they are all numbers. So we're going to have total number of projects this week and this month. They are all numbers. Then we want to create a component. We have a loading effect first using this state. Then we want to set the projects of the user in this state. Then we have the user stats, which is 0 at the beginning. And also we want to get the user information because we want to see the time that the user registered. First, we initialize the router to be able to redirect the user. Then we're going to get the initial projects using this use effect. So first thing first, we want to check if the user is not authenticated. We want to get the authentication, the session. And if the session exists, we want to set the user to the session.data.user. And also we want to get the user projects. Once we get the user's project, we want to set it inside this piece of state called user projects. Then we want to calculate the stats. We want to get the current time from the browser, and then we want to get this month, which is going to be the year and also the months. So, and I think this is the first day. So this month, from the first day to current day, which is going to be this month, and also this week is going to be the get time now minus the 7 multiplied 24, 60, 60, and 1000. So based on that, we want to get this month and this week. Then we want to set the user stats, which we get the this month from here, this week. And based on that, we want to filter through the projects and get the number of projects. And finally, if there is an error, we want to console log the error and also remove the loading effect. So if there is a loading effect and is loading state is true, we are going to say loading your dashboard. Otherwise, we want to show the dashboard. But if the person is not authenticated, we want to redirect them to the signing page. And if they are logged in, we want to show, first thing first, we want to show the welcome and show the name of the user, like the one you see here. Welcome back, the name of the user. And we see this description. Here's an overview of your AI image editing workplace. We want to show the stats card here. This is stats card, which is, we want to say the total number of projects, which is user stat, the total projects. And here we want to just say all your creations. Then we have an icon as well, which is this icon. The icon is here, image icon. Then we have a card for this month here, the icon, and also we want to show the user stats that this month, and we want to say projects created. After that, we want to see this week, which is user stats that this week. Then finally, we want to see the member sends, and we want to calculate based on the user data, which is the user that created ad. We want to just change it to the string, and based on the like a en metric, like a month and year, we want to show them. So here we just say, for example, September 2025. So that was it for the card section. And then we want to have a quick actions, which is going to create a new page. Basically, they are just redirecting the user to these pages. There's just the 3 buttons and redirect them to the, for example, create page, projects page, and finally the setting. And after that, we want to have the recent projects. So if the projects are more than 0, we want to show them here. And if there's no projects, we want to say no projects yet, start creating amazing projects, and we want to redirect them to the create page. So here we want to show the projects. We want to only show the 8 of them. So we map through the slice of 8, and we want to show the image kit here using ImageKit image. We want to just use the URL endpoint, src, and etc. to show the image. And finally, we want to have this file name and date, which is here, the file name and date. And that's it. That's it for the dashboard page. So let's add this one to the GitHub. So the message is going to be implement dashboard page with user, project, stats, and quick actions. So let's commit and push this. So in the next section, we're going to work on the home page. So as you can see from the final version, let's go to the home page. We can see this. This is mostly a static page and doesn't have any interaction. So we can simply create this. So in the next section, we're going to work on this page. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the dashboard section. In this section, we're going to work on the home page. So let me just fix this sidebar. Once we click on the sidebar, I want to go to the home page. So let's go to, let's search for sidebar menu or sidebar, app sidebar. So app sidebar, we have this image. So let's change this one to link tag from next. And then we want to have a href going to the home page. So let's try this. It's not working. Let's test again. Okay, now it's working. So let's go back. Okay, this is the homepage. So let's complete the homepage. So the homepage is basically this file, page.tsx. It's going to create the homepage. So we're going to go to this page.tsx in the app, the root of the app folder. And here's the code. Because it's static, we just want to explain you part by part. So we're going to import button from shed.cn, card and card content, all of them from shed.cn. And also we need some icons from Lucid-React. Also, we need to link from next/link to redirect the user from one page to another. Then we have our home page here. I have separated everything by an array. For example, for features, I just made an object inside an array. Each object has an icon, title, description, color, and background. So based on that, we want to have different sections. For example, the first section is this one. The background is this color. The color is this color. And also we have the title, AI background removal. I think this is for this part. Yeah, we have the features part, AI background removal. The icon is scissor. We have this expand icon with the title smart upscaling, description, the color and the background color, everything is here. Then we have testimonial array, which is this one, 3 testimonials with the stars, name, role, content, and the rating, which is a 5-star. Then we have the pricing feature, which is this one. The features are here, as you can see. So it's very flexible. You can just change it easily by changing these arrays. Then we have our content. The first one is the navigation, which is this part, top section. We have the logo here with this icon, a sparkle icon. Then we have the links, features, which is going to go to the features section. So once we click on it, we go to the features section. Pricing goes to pricing and reviews. And as you can see, it's very simple, just some link tags. Then we have the sign in button here, which is going to go to the auth/sign in, and also this try free, which goes to the dashboard. And if the user is not authenticated from dashboard, they're going to be redirected to the signing page as well. So after this section, we're going to have the hero section. The top one, here we say powered by advanced AI. And we have the title, transform, image, width, and then we're going to have this beautiful gradient text saying AI magic. And the color is from blue to purple, as you can see here. Then we have two buttons, the same things. This goes to the dashboard, and we have some creators void white, just a static stacks basically. They're not dynamic. So we're gonna show them here. Okay, so after this title, we have this description, these buttons. Then we have this stats. Then we have the features section, which is this one. As you remember, we have created the array for that. So we're going to loop through that array and show them inside the cards using ShatCN. Basically, we passed information like the feature.background color, features.icon, title, and description. So now we go to the how it works. This section, we have a title, simple, fast, professional. Get professional results, upload. As you can see, we have 3 sections: upload your image, choose AI tools, and download results. As you can see here, we map through them and show them under that. Then we have the testimonial section. We just say loved by creators. We have this short description. Also, we're going to map through our testimonials and show them inside the card. Finally, we have the pricing section. I just put the free plan here, but once they go there, they get 10 credits, and also they can add credits as well. As you can see here, I said includes 10 free credits, no credit card required. So, and then here's for this section also, we want to map through that pricing features and show them here. And finally, we have the call to action. It's just a title, a description, and also the button saying try it for free, which is going to redirect the user to the signing or dashboard. Then finally, we have this footer, which is just a static footer. As you can see, just some links. And at the end, we have copyright text, which is here. So basically, it's just a logo, some description, some links that are just designed by these devs. For example, this dev, we have like a column, a grid system, and show 2 columns here, as you can see here. Yeah, that was it for the homepage. The only section that left is inside. Let's go to the dashboard. Inside dashboard, we have this customer portal. We haven't created this one yet. So this one also, we need to create it inside dashboard. We create a folder called customer portal, and then we have a file called page.tsx. So let's create this one. Let's go to dashboard. We create a folder called customer portal, and then we just say page.tsx. This is basically just checking the user's authentication. If they are not authenticated, we're going to be redirected to the signing page. And also we want to show this customer portal redirect. So let's create this component. So we go to components and we create this component file, which is customer portal redirect.tsx. This is a client-side component. And we want to use something from, remember in auth-client, we can just have access to the portal. So inside of client, this file, remember we have added a plugin for Polar client. So basically we are using this plugin to redirect the user to that page. So here we just call this function once we are in this page. First thing first, we want to see a loading effect, loading your customer portal. And once it is loaded, we want to be redirected to the portal page, which is created basically by Polar. So we don't need to make this page. So here, now the redirections, this one should work. Let's import this one. This is this coming from this part. Let's change this name to this because the naming is this. And let's actually test this. So we go to our application. Let's click here and we go to customer portal. As you can see now, we are redirected to this customer portal page. We can see our orders here. We can download our invoice, see the usage, and also we can go to the setting, add the payment method, and also we can change the billing name, put our address, and etc. So that was it for the portal section. Also, we have completed the homepage. In the next section, we're going to deploy our application. So before that, we just add everything to the GitHub. So this is going to be add customer portal redirect and enhanced homepage layout with features, testimonial, and pricing section. That's fine. You can just commit and push this one. So see you in the next section for the deployment of our project. All right, in the last section, we have completed our homepage and also the portal page. In this section, we're going to deploy our application to Vercel. So let's search for Vercel and we go to vercel.com. Here, make sure you're signed in. It's completely free. So you can just go to click here and click on project. Here you can see your GitHub repository. This is the one I'm working on right now. And you can just connect your GitHub repository and click here on your project that you want to deploy. So we just click on import. Now we need to add our environmental variables. This environmental variable, let's go back to Visual Studio Code. We go to our .env file and we copy everything and we paste it here. Now we just deploy it. Once we get our URL, once we get our domain, we can just add our domain here, later updated. But for now, you just deploy it. So let's deploy this. This is going to take a while and probably takes around 1 or 2 minutes. I'm going to pause the video and come back. All right, seems like we got some error here. It says type error, variant prompt is a type and must be imported using type only imports. So, and this is inside the sidebar. So this is basically actually an error caused by ShatCN. So let's go to back to our application. So let's go to components. So components, sidebar.tsx, UI sidebar.tsx, and this is the error we are getting. Let's quickly fix this one. So we just say type variant props, it's gonna fix the problem. Let's just deploy this one again. So this is going to be just refactor sidebar. Let's commit and push. And this commit and push is going to automatically deploy our application again. So let's go back to this project. So let's refresh the page. And this is our project. So if you go to deployment, we can see that the new deployment is started. Let's wait and if you see we get any errors or not. All right, seems like we got another error. Let's check that. So now we got an error inside the page.tsx inside create. So it seems like we forgot to add an await. And also inside dashboard, But the error that actually stopped our application is this one, app page.tsx. Okay, let's just fix this one. So let's go to create page.tsx. All right, so I've gave the errors to the AI agent. So these are the changes we see. For the user, instead of just any, we just change the type from name, which name, created, add, and etc. So let's accept this one. Then we have, instead of this or sign, we're gonna have this. And then we're gonna have another type error. Here, instead of this comma, we need to add this one. So that was it for this page. So the next error was for the page.tsx, and this one, let's add this one to the agent as well to fix the error. Let's paste it here. So inside the app page, this page. So basically, these are all just a type error. We add this one. Okay, so these are the error in the providers. So I feel now it's safe to deploy again and check if we get an error again or not. So let's commit and push this one. Let's go back to Vercel. And as you can see, the new deployment has been started. All right, seems like we got a new error this time. This time, still in the create page, we are getting an error. Let's just copy this one again. Paste it here. So basically the error is in create page.tsx. Seems like I cannot find the error. Let's try this one. Actually, let me just grab this and paste it, but I use something else. I want to use Claude Sonnet. That's a better AI agent than ChatGPT. Let's paste it now. Actually, between these AI agents, I tested all of them. The Claude Sonnet 4 is the best so far, even better than GPT-5. And let's see what we get. All right, seems like all the TypeScript errors have been fixed. Let's apply all of them and add them to the GitHub. Okay, so now hopefully this time we don't get any error. All right, after a few times of try and error, we got the successful deployment. Here you can see we have a domain dedicated for our project. You can click on that, and this is going to open our project, as you can see here. Let's try this project. Let's go to the signing page. This signing page probably is not gonna work. Let's try to sign in. So once we click on login, actually it's working, but you need to actually add this URL basically to your environmental variable. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes today it was working. So basically you just go to your website here, go to the setting, go to the environmental variables, and here you change your this not database, Better Auth URL. So just change this one. We can edit it, and we just paste this code instead, and we save. And the other things we need to do is to go to Polar, and inside the web token, you just go to setting, and we go to webhooks. And here, if you remember, we added our ngrok. So you just need to change this one and just paste the new link and save that. So this is going to give us a new secret key. So we can just copy that, and we go to Vercel, and we go to Polar webhooks secret, and we change that one as well. Here, we just paste it here, and we save. So once you save, you need to redeploy your application. So if you go to deployment, we just refresh the page. We can see that now the applications are being redeployed. All right, let's refresh this page. So the redeployment is working now. Let's see. Okay, it's now ready. Let's go back to the website. Let's log in and we go to the dashboard. So let me just log in again. Once you are in dashboard, you can just test it again. Let's go to create. Inside create, let's upload an image. For example, this image. Okay, now we have this image. Let's test this. For example, we zoom to the face. We apply that one. As you can see, it's working fine. Let's try to do the, let's download that. So it's going to download our image. Let's clear this. So everything's working. Also, we can see the projects here, the previous projects, and here as well. Let's remove the background for this one. All right, so the background is removed. Let's just apply the face. We can zoom to the face. All right, it's working fine. So let's try to upgrade our application. Let's click on upgrade. Now we have 201 credits. Let's add, for example, another 50 credits. Let's add this code 42 42 04 2027, for example, 123. Name is fine. Address is Australia. As you can see, my email is saved here, so I don't need to put my information again. Now let's pay with this one. Once you press on pay, and we must be redirected to the homepage, and now we have 251 credits. So everything is working fine. So this is the setting and everything. You can see your sign in and sessions, the name. Let's change this name to Sahand instead. Okay, that's working fine. Let's go to the dashboard. All right, everything is working fine. Also, the projects, as I mentioned before, it's inside this GitHub repository. You can come here. I shared this link with you, so you can come here, be familiar with this website, and also you can see the link for the final version is here as well. You can test it for yourself, and also all the sections that we have created. For example, sidebar components and anything. If you have any problem, just come here and get the code from this GitHub repository. So that was it for this project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. Let me know your opinion about the project, and see you in the next project.